And check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents me a win. Yeah.
Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show. Yeah. Rob only.
The Fan Upstate.
Good morning. These are going to hurt you, sir.
And off we go, ladies and gentlemen, the four most adrenaline-inducing hours of sports talk entertainment that you will find anywhere at any point on the radio today start now. It is the Rob Brown Show here on the Fan Upstate. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Spectacular to have you here this Tuesday morning. I am Rob Brown. On the other side of the collective and metaphorical radio glass, he is, of course, the man in charge of this and every radio program you've ever heard and enjoyed. The great one, Lonzo, is here. Hello, Lonzo.
Daggum Tuesday.
Tuesday tis. All day, as a matter of fact. I checked it out. I looked at the calendar, and we've got a day.
I actually got
up.
some sleep last night, so I'm ready to go today.
I tried to stay up for.
Love the shirt, by the way.
Thanks. It's new.
You didn't need a shirt, but
I didn't. I don't need new shirts.
No. I mean to point out.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I need. I like people to know what they're getting into before they get into it. I
need a shirt that says "nice guy."
Hug life.
No, I definitely don't need that one.
I found myself doing my darndest last night to stay up for Golden State Houston. I really wanted to stay up and watch that game. And I wanted to stay up and watch that game because Dillon Brooks versus Jimmy Butler is fun. It's not fun for them. And I know it's not fun for them because in the post-game press conference, which I did not make it through that game, which I'm disappointed in myself because as much fun as I was having watching these two dudes just jaw at each other, run through each other's chest in that game last night. As much as I was enjoying it, man, I just ran out of gas yesterday. So I ended up going to bed, and now I kind of wish I'd have just gutted it out and stayed up to watch this game. Because 109-106, the Warriors on top of the Rockets last night. They are on top of Houston 3-1 in this series. And from what I have seen so far, because I do believe that you got to watch the basketball to talk about the basketball. As much fun as I was having watching these boys run through each other's chests last night, apparently I just missed a good game. Apparently I just missed good basketball. Dillon Brooks is everything that we accuse Draymond Green of being. Just like without the stage presence, man. Like Dillon Brooks is everything that we accuse Draymond of being, just without the charisma of Draymond.
Or the rings.
Draymond, Lonzo pointed out my shirt. To those of you not watching on the stream yet, which is available at facebook.com/thefanupstate, the Fan Upstate on YouTube, the Rob Brown Show on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube. It is my new wrestling shirt. It is a black shirt that just says heel across the chest. This shirt is not needed by Draymond. The shirt's needed by Dillon Brooks. Because Draymond doesn't really have a problem coming across as the heel. He's good at it. He's made his career out of it. And he's had the fortuitous good luck of playing alongside probably the second most visible basketball player on planet Earth in Steph Curry. And so everything that he does is amplified. When he is stepping on dudes' chests, it is amplified. When he is, pulling guys down to the ground by the jersey. It is amplified. He shares a floor with probably the second most filmed athlete in the National Basketball Association in Steph Curry. Dillon Brooks doesn't have the good luck of having a Steph Curry on his team. So Dillon Brooks kind of fades by the limelight. Now, that's not always been the case. He's been on other teams alongside better players, which is where his initials of DB are very appropriate. That came from another team and it's transferred over to Houston. He's got a young star on his team in Jalen Green, but Jalen Green last night, second consecutive game where he's been held to single-digit points, had 8 points in the game last night. They were led by Sengun, again, 31. Fred VanVleet had 25, 17 for Amen Thompson. Like, Jalen Green has just disappeared from this game, and he's a dude that I thought was kind of going to be a key if the Rockets were going to make it competitive. And he did in the game that they won, but he's all but disappeared since then. And I've asked the question, is that the Draymond Green effect? Because Draymond has been in Jalen Green's face pretty much since the jump of this series. And I've asked the question, is this the learning curve? I heard yesterday, was it Kenny? I think it was Kenny. In fact, I know it was Kenny. The Jet yesterday on NBA, on Inside the NBA on TNT, was talking about the Cavaliers. But I think it's very appropriate for the Houston Rockets as well. He said everybody's talked about the graduation of the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? The graduation to contender. And he said the process is ordinarily you graduate from being a bad team to a playoff team to a conference contender to a conference participant, and a participant to an NBA finals team. And it's usually, not always, but usually kind of a tiered process, right? You go from one tier to the next tier to the next tier. And I'm kind of at the point where I by and large agree with that. It's not always true. But man, the moment just looks way too big for Houston. The moment just looks too big, which makes sense. Amen Thompson's a rookie. Dillon Brooks has been around good teams, but he's never been asked to carry one. Fred VanVleet is the champ on this team. Remember, he won that championship with Toronto a few years back. But that's about it when it comes to experience. And I wonder if, whether it's last night or just this series at large, if we are kind of seeing the reality that you've got to learn via pain, man. You've got to learn via pain. You've got to learn via L's. You got to take some L's in different spots in order to learn how to go get dubs. And I think this is probably more accurate in the NBA than it is in other sports, or at least it feels like it. But you've got one NBA champ on this team in VanVleet. You've got one player with some decent experience in Dillon Brooks. And then you got a bunch of young guys on this team. And it feels to me like, despite the best efforts of Dillon Brooks, Draymond Green is just in their head. Steph Curry's just in their head. They won't let them get anything. And then you add playoff Jimmy, but I can't even say, because I go back to 2 nights ago when I said, if playoff Jimmy plays, Golden State wins this game. But if playoff Jimmy's out, they can't beat Houston. Turns out maybe they can.
Yeah. And then he comes back and it's even better for them. Unfortunately, I did not stay up, but I watched the highlights and I looked at the score and was very disappointed because I want the Warriors to lose every game they ever play. But that's just me. And unfortunately, a team that limped into the playoffs looks pretty good when they have all their pieces.
They do. It's all their pieces. It's also the addition of Jimmy Butler. Like,
that's what I meant by pieces. Because he was
gotcha.
out one game and then he was back.
Gotcha. The addition of Jimmy Butler when he showed up My thought was that is the biggest acquisition of the trade deadline. There were some other moves. There were big moves. Obviously, Luka Doncic was one of them. But even Luka to the Lakers, it still felt like playoff Jimmy to the Golden State Warriors was the biggest move of the trade deadline because he is the piece that they needed. They did not have that guy that could do something away from the ball to open space up on the floor anymore. That was it. That was the Warriors' problem down the stretch to me. They did not have anybody else that was capable of opening up the floor to make life easier for Steph Curry. And now they do. And the thing is, even if they have that, Steph Curry he wasn't bananas last night. 6 of 13, 2 of 8 from behind the arc. That's a below average day for Steph Curry. But if they get 17 out of Steph and they get 27 out of Jimmy Butler and his busted tailbone, 12 of 12 from the stripe. Like Houston was beating up on Jimmy Butler last night. Dillon Brooks was trying to do to Jimmy Buckets what Draymond has been doing to everybody else on the roster of the Houston Rockets and be in his head enough that it changes the way that mentally they're attacking the game. And Jimmy was having none of it. I was watching the postgame presser. I was going to say this a minute ago, and then I distracted myself. Jimmy Butler was in the postgame presser, and one of the media members was talking about the fact that there was a free throw in the third quarter, early fourth quarter. There was a free throw where Brooks and Butler were lined up next to each other. And to say that they were jack-jawing each other would be an understatement. They were very clearly not having encouraging words of friendly competition between the two. And I know that because I'm not a tremendous lip reader, but there was one point where it was very, very obvious that Jimmy Butler leaned over to Dillon Brooks and said, "Shut your bleep ass up, you're weak." And Dillon Brooks started laughing in his face. Like, when I say laughing, I mean Jimmy Butler did that thing you do on the free throw line to try to catch some air, where you bend over and you put your hands on your knees and you bend over at the waist, you suck some wind. He was doing that, and Dillon Brooks leaned over him. So his head was above his head, but like in his face, and leaned down and just started laughing in his face. Jimmy Butler was like, "Shut your bleep ass up. You are weak." Was very, very clear that this was not like respectful, fun, friendly smack talk between a couple of NBAers. These were two dudes that were in each other's face, man. And it was great.
It's not necessarily grade A smack talk, though. I mean, you're weak. I would expect it a little bit more.
I mean, he also said, "Shut your up." Like, I'm not saying it's great smack talk. Sometimes great one. You work in communications, you know this. Sometimes it is not the words, it's the delivery, right? Sometimes this is a conversation I used to have with my old man all the time. "Dad, it's not what you say, it's how you say it." A huge portion of communication is not the words that you use, it is the methodology by which they are delivered. And it was very
like
clear.
when your wife says your name and you know you're in trouble.
Bingo.
As opposed to
there
other
is
times, yeah.
a different, same message. Robert Louis Brown. You understand? Like, same message delivered 3 different ways. I'm looking for the one in the middle, the one where the Y's and hey float up and down a little bit. That's what I'm looking for. It's not what I usually get. That's what I'm looking for. So to me, It was really about the fact that Jimmy Butler was clearly done with Dillon Brooks. They got to the post-game presser, and one of the media guys was like, hey, Jimmy, looks like you and Dillon Brooks were having fun out there. And he goes, it is not fun. This is not fun. This is not respectful smack talk. This is two guys who are competitors who do not like each other. This is not fun. Game 5 of this series, to me, has just become must watch. Warriors have the Rockets on the brink of elimination. The Warriors have the Rockets, who have all the confidence in the world, despite being down 3-1. Warriors have the Rockets on the brink of elimination, and Dillon Brooks is getting progressively more Draymond-esque in his behavior. Game 5 of this series has just become must-watch television. We're going to talk a lot about the NBA playoffs today. We are going to continue to break down the NFL draft from the weekend. We got into some of the initial thoughts of the Carolina Panther draft class. We're going to go a little bit more in depth. Went and found some draft profiles, watched a little bit of tape yesterday afternoon of the rest of the picks of the Panthers. I've got some thoughts on those I will share with you. We didn't even talk about NASCAR yesterday. Ran at Talladega. There's a couple of interesting stories out of that we need to get into. So we got a busy day. I hope you'll be a part of it. 844-326-3663, 844-FAN-FONE. That is the number to the Hub City Spartanburger text line. You can use that number to text the show. You can also use that number to call the show and get on the air. The Rob Brown Show, right here on the Fan Upstate.
I swear, I hate that. Hate it.
What's that?
Music behind the liners.
Oh.
It just ruins a smooth transition, especially when you're going out with a slower bed and it hits the harder bed, and there's no way to fade it when it's a shorter liner also. Who am I to question?
Morning, Todd, and welcome in, buddy. Good to have you.
That new game that I'm playing,
Yep.
Expedition 33. It's a French game. You have to fight mimes on occasion.
Mimes?
Mimes. The mimes are no joke. They pull out, at least I've fought two different female mimes.
Pull out baguettes?
No, invisible hammers. I mean, they're already giant, so invisible giant hammers that just tear you up. Did get a sweet mime outfit to put on one of the characters after I beat the mime, though. So, you know. So if you ever want to hit a mime, this is your chance.
I don't hate mimes like a lot of people do.
Neither do I. I mean, you got 30 seconds, by the way.
What does it mean to be a superstar? Also, Lonzo put some new music in.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this because I sometimes I will put it together and I'll listen to it again the next day before I put it in, And then I listened to it on the air, and I'm not positive about this one.
This is all right. Hang on. Starting at power forward, wearing number 00, a 6'3", 217-pound sophomore from New Orleans, Louisiana. It's very NBA starting lineup-y. Very NHL starting lineup-y.
I didn't hear that till you started doing it. Now I hear it for sure. Yeah.
It's very intro the starting lineup-y. And I'm here for it. I dig it. It's got this is good start the show music, I think. Right? Like this is first segment out of the gate. Got to get the gas, got to get the electricity. Like I can get behind it. I think we need to is it time for us to freshen up the intro? We've been rocking the Jey Uso intro for since I got here. So over 5 years at this point. I think we made it an intro refresher. The problem is, do we have a introduce the starting lineup voice at our disposal? I don't know if we do.
Yeah, our voice guy can do that. Trust me. You haven't heard his range.
That I mean, again, I'm not you're right, I haven't. Does he have NBA starting lineup taking the floor in him? Because if he does, that's what I want next.
This sounds like needs to be taken up with committee and run by the committee and see what the committee says.
I mean, I think I'd like to think after 5 years I have the hey boss, this is first off, Zoe,
the committee's pretty strong. I'm just
the question mark is not will we catch the permission from up above? I'm confident the answer is yes.
So you want to just do one and put it in there and see if he notices?
No.
Okay. Right.
I'm saying he regularly asks me, are you ready for a new intro? And I have said no this whole time because I really do like the intro.
So you waited till Jey Uso is actually champion. I mean, he's been tag team champion, but he's world champion right now. And now you want to get rid of him.
It's not get rid of him. It's, again, I've rocked the same intro for 5 years now. Like at some point, I think it's just due for a refresh. And now that you've pulled all the starting lineup intro music, now kind of don't hate the idea of having a welcome to the floor, your starting lineup kind of deal behind us. A very sportsy thing to this sports show.
Anti this that we're discussing. I'm just I don't know how the committee will see it. Hopefully they love your ideas and are able to put them to paper and then to tape, as it were.
I've not had an idea rejected yet. All right, I'm flawless. I'm perfect. I know ball.
You said idea.
All right, we have got to get back into the NBA. How about, ladies and gentlemen, our Miami Heat? Good, and I don't say this lightly. Gosh, last night getting absolutely shellacked by Cleveland, 138-83. That is a lot of points.
It is a lot of points, and they haven't scored points like that since back in the day.
22.
Are they fake? Is this just
I don't think so. I think this team
seems pretty consistent for the entire season.
Yeah, so. I don't think it's fake at all. I think this team offensively is one of the best teams in the league, and there's not really much of a weakness to the game at all of this team. Like there's not much of a weakness to this team. I mean, I guess you could argue that with Evan Mobley only being 6'11", they don't really have like a dominant force in the middle. You got 12 boards out of Jared Allen last night, who goes 6'9". They don't really have like the big guy. But they don't play big guy basketball.
Allen, like the most used sports name in all of sports. There's been a Jared Allen in every sport at the highest level.
Well, he's Jarrett Allen.
Doesn't matter. Sounds like Jared to me.
Jarrett Allen, averaging 13.5 points this season, got 14 last night, so right on pace. Again, I think it is a Cavs offense that is efficient. They shot 55% from the floor last night. They went 47% from behind the arc. It's an efficient offense. And the beautiful thing about the NBA is an efficient offense is regularly considered an explosive offense, right? If you're shooting, hell, 48, 49%, and you're doing so consistently, you're going to get the flowers for it. The team shot north of 54%, almost 55% last night. There's really no weakness to the game. I'm at the point now where, shy of being able to score with them, I don't know how you stop Cleveland. I'm going to say this. Round 2, Cleveland v. probably Indiana, as Dame Lillard is officially out for the season with an Achilles tear. So Indiana's going to finish that series over Giannis and the Bucks, which, by the way,
the
Pacers are going to finish that series over the Bucks. Is Giannis done in Milwaukee? That's the bet. For the record, I don't want him to be. Okay? I don't want him to be. I like Giannis in Milwaukee, A, and B, I do not like superstars leaving small market teams. It hurts my feelings, and I don't want my fifis hurt. But I got to look and think, he's got to be getting frustrated. They got their title, and what next? What now? But Bucks Cavs in round number 2, because Indiana is a wonderfully physical basketball team. Indiana is a team that absolutely has be consistent and efficient offensively with them, which means I think they can match Cleveland. I'm not saying stop them. I'm not saying beat them. I think I'm betting the over in every game in that series. That round 2 matchup could be the best round 2 matchup. Thunder v. Nuggets or Clippers. Probably fun. I've kind of bought into it's everybody chasing Oklahoma City narrative right now. Lakers Timberwolves winner likely. Minnesota up 3-1. Rockets Warriors winner likely. Rockets up 3-1. Timberwolves v. Dubs could be kind of interesting just because of the what's the word I'm looking for here? Attitude matchup, right? Like Golden State's a team that tries to psych you out of your game a little bit. Anthony Edwards is a psych go path. I don't think he's going to bite. But he's got some young guys around him. Maybe they do. That could be fun. Knicks Pistons winner versus Celtics Magics. A Celtics Magic winner. That is going to be the Knicks and the Celtics in round 2. That'll be fun just because we're rehashing an old rivalry. The old hats are going to come out for that one. But Cavs Pacers might be the best postseason series we get. Those two teams are going to be running and gunning, and I am here for it. But I think Lonzo's Cavaliers are legitimate. I don't think you put down a team like they put down Miami last night. I don't think you put down a team like they put down Miami last night without being legitimate in the playoffs. Because yes, it was a 138-83 win. Yes, it was a, what is that, 55-point win? And sometimes that happens in the NBA. It's rare, but it happens. There was no point in that game. I did watch this game last night. There was no point in this game last night where it even felt competitive. I started off the segment by asking, what is a superstar, right? When it comes to basketball, what is a superstar? Is it guy who scores a lot of points? Is it guy who wins multiple championships? Is it guy who wins a bunch of individual awards? Is it guy who makes the team better? And the reason I bring this up is because Tyler Hero is a cat that I have enjoyed watching play basketball. Tyler Hero is a guy, especially the last 2-3 weeks of the regular season and into the playoffs, I was actually giving a lot of love to, because post Jimmy Buckets departing to head to Golden State, post that departure, Tyler Hero was kind of keeping Miami afloat, was putting up 35, 36 pieces regularly. Tyler Hero had 4 points on 1 of 10 shooting and 1 of 9 from behind the arc last night. In the moment that the Miami Heat needed somebody to try to come out and reestablish this concept of Heat culture, which I told you as soon as Jimmy Butler left, like, there is no Heat culture. There is only Jimmy Buckets. In a moment where they needed somebody to establish that Heat culture, Tyler Hero faded in this series. And I didn't know this, but I found this out last night as I was laying down to go to bed. Apparently, about a week out from the playoff, about a day out from the playoff series, Tyler Hero was asked about kind of taking over this team and being the guy with Jimmy Butler gone. And Tyler Hero said something to the effect of, I don't have the quote in front of me, but something to the effect of, if I had Jimmy Butler on this team, if we had Jimmy Butler on this team, we wouldn't be the 8 seed. If we had Jimmy Butler on this team, we wouldn't be the 8 seed. And I feel like this would be a different series going in. And my thought immediately was, you're not wrong. Like, obviously, you're not wrong. Look what Jimmy Butler's doing with the Golden State Warriors right now. Of course, he's a great postseason player. You're not wrong. But, man, that's not what I want my number one player saying coming into the series, right? I don't want my number one player coming into the series going, I miss my buddy. I miss my ex. I wish he was here. I wish he was on this team. You're not wrong. But, Tyler Hero, you were an all-star this year, man. Like, your face is on the outside of the building. And when I heard that, all of a sudden that 55-point loss from last night suddenly made a lot more sense. When I read that, I got Tyler Hero out there pining for Jimmy Butler before the series starts. All of a sudden, the Heat getting swept and taking a 50-burger loss last night checked out. I can't have my number one guy, my all-star, the guy that I've turned the keys over to after JB went out to the left coast. I can't have him saying that. So that series ultimately should not have, and that game last night should not have been a shock to Miami or anybody else, because I assume they all had pictures of emo Jimmy hanging in their lockers, pining over him that way. Like, I can't have my star saying that. But yes, I think your Cleveland Cavaliers are a very real franchise. I think they're a very real franchise. I think they're a very good franchise. Right now, Cleveland v. Boston is the series to go to the NBA Finals. All right, we'll get away from some NFL. We'll get some NFL or some NBA. We'll get away from the NBA. We'll get to some NFL and maybe some college ball later on in the show. Rob Brown, the Great One, Lonzo, and you on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. I would love to get Killer Cross in here.
Wait. Not in the room. I mean,
yes, I'd love to get Killer Cross.
I don't know about in the room.
I want him to cut a promo on this show like he cut the other day after.
I don't, because I can only push that button so many times. But
week to number 3. North Carolina jumped 4 spots to number 4. NC State leaped 12 spots to number 13 this week. Coastal Carolina up 2 spots to number 19. The Carolina Panthers added former Clemson wide receiver Hunter Renfrow on a 1-year deal. The 29-year-old caught 269 passes for 2,884 yards and 17 touchdowns in 5 seasons with the Raiders before sitting out last year. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders, that's the sports class of the Fan Upstate.
Up to the minute upstate traffic. It's an all clear so far this morning as there are no accidents reported and no significant traffic delays. 85 is wide open both north and south through the upstate. If you typically travel Woodruff Road, Garlington Road is closed, as is Rover Mountain Road and Feaster Road. Bypass lanes are scheduled to open later today. From the news.
Like they're open now, but you know.
Traffic Center, I'm Dillon Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's too much work.
Not if you call it. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a lot good.
Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and report savings. Savings vary.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. It's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention, which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine kit. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak high. Find all the parts you need at prices you love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
From the Eagles Market Studio.
Tigers, Gamecocks, Panthers, Pelicans, and Ravens. Punch your ticket to the best local sports. 97.10 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. Always streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey app. Rise and shine, sports fans. That's
Carolina Panthers draft pick in the books. Teteroa McMillan, pick number 1. Nick Scorton, pick number 2, the edge rusher from A&M. Princely Umamalen from Ole Miss, edge rusher, pick number 3 in the 3rd round.
Don't look at me.
I know.
I don't know.
I know. It's one of those things that I've heard it 50 times, and yet when it's time to pull the trigger, the brain just goes, record scratch. Are these sounds in that order? Is that right? He goes 3rd, Trevor Etienne, Lathan Ransom, Cam Jackson, Mitchell Evans, Jimmy Horn Jr. So overall, the reaction to Carolina's draft has been largely very positive. It seems like, by and large, amongst the experts, for whatever that's worth to you, has been that Carolina had a very good draft. And I think they did. I think they addressed just about every need. They needed a wide receiver. They took one out of the gate. They needed a defensive tackle. They got, I think, an underappreciated one in Cam Jackson. They needed edge rushers. They got 2 of them. They needed a safety. They got not just a safety, but again, another one I think was very underrated in Lathan Ransom out of Ohio State. They got Jimmy Horn Jr. And again, I frankly, you got a 7th round wide receiver. I don't know a lot about this kid. I don't know a lot to tell you about him. I don't know. He played for Colorado. He was absolutely very visible. Had a couple of big moments for Colorado last year. I was watching some of his highlights yesterday, getting ready to talk more draft today. And I can tell you there's some interesting spots in this guy's game. He is very good separating once the ball is in the air. He is very good with recognition of the ball in the air. He is very good at creating separation away from DBs to get underneath where the ball is going to go. I don't know that he is the deep threat wide receiver that I'm looking at. I don't know that he is necessarily the deep threat wide receiver that I wanted to end up with for Bryce Young. What I do know is Shedeur Sanders last year was using him quite a bit as both an over-the-top and an underneath wide receiver. So there's some versatility there. I do think that he's going to be fighting for a roster spot because I think it is going to be his youth, his athleticism. I think it's going to be quite a bit of his versatility without necessarily exceptional NFL caliber physical tools, physical weapons. But it's going to be a fight to make the roster. But it's a 7th round pick. This is kind of what we talked about yesterday when we were talking about Shedeur in the fall, right? If Cleveland ends up cutting Shedeur Sanders because of his own fault, because the folks who said he's just not good enough are right, or because Dion gets involved, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever the reason might be, if Shedeur gets cut, it ain't the end of the world for Cleveland. They cut a 5th round pick. That's why the pick made sense there. It's kind of the same thing here with this thought of Jimmy Horn Jr. If you cut the guy, you cut a 7th rounder. Give him a shot. Give the kid a shot to morph into that thing that BY needs. Give him a shot to be Marcus Colston, the 7th round pick out of Hofstra that ended up going on to probably be the best wide receiver the New Orleans Saints ever had, both as a player and as a dude. Give him that shot. And the good news is the versatility of Jimmy Horn Jr., a dude that, while he's not fast enough to take the lid off the top of any defense, he is good enough and smart enough to understand where the hole in the top of the defense is. He is good enough to get to the top level and say, all right, it's a cover 3, so I'm going to run a seam route. I'm going to get up the hash marks. Or, all right, it's a cover 2, so I'm going to break middle to the outside and try to pull that safety over with me and give a tight end up the middle an opportunity. Whatever. Like he seems like he sees the field well. And if you hit him with a pass, he does feel like, and again, this is Colorado, and most of the highlight reels, if you go and watch them, most of the highlight reel, like I watched his game against Cincinnati last night. Oh, I watched his highlights against Cincinnati last night. A lot of underneath stuff against Cincinnati. Why? Because the weakness for Cincinnati for the Bearcats last year, I was watching it last night. The weakness for Cincinnati in the secondary was against press man, or was playing press man. They don't have the dogs that were able to get up on a wide receiver on the line of scrimmage and remove them from the contest. And that's where Jimmy Horn Jr. shined for the Colorado Buffaloes last year. There were a couple of other games. It was Arizona State, one of the games that I watched on Saturday night after the pick came in. Saw some highlights. And one of the highlights that I saw, you know what it was? It was the Kansas State game. It was a Kansas State game, a 31-28 loss to Kansas State. That was the game that Travis Hunter left because he got banged up in that game back in October of last year. I was watching a little bit of that game. Kansas State didn't really have the guys over the top. They were very aggressive at the point of attack. They were killing Shedeur and Travis at the point of attack. And that game saw Jimmy Horn Jr. playing a lot of mid to middle deep routes. A lot of crossing routes that were taking him 7 yards over the top and running across and becoming the safety valve for Shedeur. The reason I'm intrigued by this pick, this is not me saying he's going to shine, not me saying he's going to be a stud, a star. I don't know yet. Because again, not the most athletic guy that's ever been drafted, but seems to have a good feel for the football field. Seems to have a good idea about where coverages in the defense are going to be at. Seems to have a pretty good idea at where he can do the most good for his quarterback, assuming you design it that way for him. Seems to have a pretty good idea about where he needs to be on the field to give his guy a chance. And honestly, at this spot for Bryce Young, that's what I'm looking for, right? I'm looking for a wide receiver who understands why do you think Adam Thielen has been so good for Carolina? It's not because he's the most athletic cat out there. He's very clearly and obviously not. Adam Thielen has been so good with Bryce Young for one reason and one reason alone. Because he sees the entirety of the football field and he knows where the soft spots in the defense are. So he's able to get there, he's able to make a target, and he's able to give Bryce Young the, oh crap, option, should he need it. And then every now and then just work him into the offense. Jimmy Horton Jr. gives me that same vibes, but in a young cat. In a cat that doesn't have 27,000 miles of tread worn off the tires. As a guy who last year, and again, one of the reasons that I am absolutely willing to give anybody from Colorado who is not an offensive lineman, because they were garbage at the offensive line last year. This is one of the reasons that a lot of the pro Shedeur people are pro Shedeur people. Because the belief is the fact that he played behind the offensive line that he played behind last year and didn't get hurt, finished the season, finished games, even if he did quit a couple of games, finished games behind that offensive line. A lot of people were going, that dude's a tough S of a B, man. Like the fact that he was able to play out that season behind that offensive line is impressive. One of the reasons was because Jimmy Horn Jr. was presenting targets. Shedeur wasn't having to hang on to the ball for 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds all the time. He had targets making themselves available, and this cat was one of the best at that for this team. And again, in an offense, that was, and understandably so. I said this yesterday, and I got told after the show that I sounded like a Deion hater. Just so we're clear, I'm not a Deion hater. At all. I think it's partially Deion's fault that Shedeur fell to the 5th round. I think his involvement was a big part of that reason. But I'm not a Deion hater. Deion Sanders had on his team a Heisman Trophy winner and a very good athlete at quarterback, and he took advantage of that. Do what you got to do to win. Not a Deion hater. But I do think that if you were evaluating anybody else that's on that football field for the Colorado Buffalo offense, I do think it is not unfair. In fact, I would dare say mandatory to evaluate that talent in the perspective of how did they perform in an offense that was 100% designed for the quarterback and the Heisman Trophy winning wide receiver? Because it was. How did they perform? And the answer for a guy in Jimmy Horton Jr. was respectfully. Like they good enough to get on the radar, good enough to get drafted, even if it was late. That's not a bad spot. So I got in a weird way, because I am excited to see what Lathan Ransom does at this level. I am excited to see what a 338-pound, 6'7" defensive tackle in Cam Jackson does at this level. Jackson paired up with Derek Brown. Like, if the Panthers commit to, and I actually do hope I see Ejiro Evero do this. We'll talk with Rashad Beard later in the week about it. If the Panthers genuinely commit to on obvious rundowns or on obvious running teams, if the Panthers commit to a 3-4 with Jackson in one hole and Derek Brown in the other, nobody should be able to run on that team, man. Like, I don't care how good your offensive line is. You've got two hosses in the middle. No one should be able to run on that football team. I'm excited to see what they do. But Jimmy Horn Jr. to me is the biggest what if of this draft class. What if he is that guy? What if he is the dude that becomes Adam Thielen volume 2.0? What if he is the guy that replaces Adam Thielen in the Adam Thielen role? What if he is the guy that you can trust to find the spots in the defense where Bryce Young needs him and take advantage of that? To me, this dude might be the biggest potential breakout guy in the draft, and you got him in the 7th round. I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about that one. There's really not a pick that I'm not interested in. I thought there were some spots I would have loved to have seen Carolina do different. I think in a couple of years, you guys are going to see why I was upset about the Jalen Walker pass at 8 and the desire to go to Big T-Mac at 8.
You just don't want to give him the nickname that he has. You just want to give him something else.
No, we spent last season, when it became obvious he was going to be an NFL draft pick, we spent the entire run up to the draft calling him Tet, and I found out Monday morning that he doesn't like Tet, and I'm trying to be respectful of the young man's wishes. All right. Now, if he played for any other team than Carolina's or mine, yeah, no, he's Tet. He's just going to have to live with that. But came to Charlotte. Seems to be, by the way, I've seen the intro video. I saw him meeting Bryce. I saw him having his introduction to the rest of the wide receiver locker room. Seems like a genuinely good kid. There was I think we talked about it on this show leading up to the draft. There was a video going around of a podcast interview that he did a while back where they were like, what's your film routine, right? Like, what's your film routine? And he was like, I don't watch film. I don't care, right? I don't watch film. I go out there and I do what I do. And a lot of people, including me, were kind of taken back by that. In fact, I even said at one point on the show, I was like, I wouldn't touch that kid with a 10-foot pole. But then I went and looked at it, and that was from like 2 or 3 years ago. And there were, again, grain of salt, but there were coaches at Arizona that were talking about the fact that this guy's a big prep guy. He's a big prep guy. He's a big get ready guy. He's a big understand guy. That was a dumb thing that he said a couple of years ago. He gets off the hook for that. And I'll buy into it. I'll buy into it now. Because the showing that he had when he made his debut in Charlotte kind of seemed like a dude you want to be around, man. Kind of seemed like a dude you wanted to give some credit to. All right, so there's some thoughts on the lower picks of the Carolina Panthers. If you want to talk about your team or any other team or whatever, hit us up, 844-326-3663. Got a bunch more to get into, more NBA talk, some NHL playoff talk as the Hurricanes will try to eliminate the Devils coming up, and more. All of that in hour number two, after Sports Flash number 1. Cool.
Two NBA games last night. The Cavaliers finished a sweep of the Miami Heat with a 138-83 beatdown. Cleveland was led by Donovan Mitchell's 22 and DeAndre Hunter's 19 off the bench. The Golden State Warriors now lead the Houston Rockets 3-1 after a 109-106 win. Jimmy Butler scored 27 in his return from injury. The Atlanta Braves started a 3-game set against the Rockets with a 6-3 win last night. Bryce Elder secured the win with a 6-inning, 5-hit, 3-run night with 4 Ks, while the Braves tagged Colorado starter Ryan Feltner for 10 of the 14 hits. It's confirmed Damian Lillard will miss the rest of the NBA playoffs with a torn Achilles heel. According to the Milwaukee Bucks, Lillard suffered the injury during the 129-103 loss to Indiana in Game 4 while trying to keep a rebound alive. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show coming up.
There's road work along Whitehorse for the rest of the year. University Reed is closed from Ruston to Harris Streets. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm Dillon Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
If someone has been the nation's leader in something for 8 years, it's safe to say they're probably the best at it, right? Hey, it's Rob Brown, and may I introduce you to QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain. QC Kinetics uses regenerative cell therapy to restore the tissue in your achy joints and make them achy no longer, using biologic growth factors to regenerate that connective tissue that prevents joint pain and gives your joints new life. And the best part, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. It is an all-natural, cellular level option with lasting relief. And the patient satisfaction reports are nothing shy of astonishing. Summer is almost here. So do everything you want to do without being slowed down by joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now and learn about these cutting-edge treatments and live your best life. Call QC Kinetics at 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772 in Greenville and in Asheville. 864-448-3772. It's QC Kinetics. Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag. We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks. You know, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
Here's comedian Howie Mandel for hands-free Cozy Fit Skechers slippers.
Yeah, I'm holding a new Cozy Fit Skechers slip-in sneaker, and first of all, I barely know I'm holding it. It's that light. You see, Cozy Fit is a cool new sneaker where the upper is made of a soft quilted material. It's kind of like a little puffer jacket for your feet, except it looks like a super stylish sneaker.
Introducing new Cozy Fit Skechers slippers, the latest comfort creation from Skechers. You can find Cozy Fit Skechers slippers at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Catchy tune, right? But don't let the urge to sing along distract you from the truck drifting towards your lane, or that lane-splitting biker creeping up the side. Fortunately, every Hyundai offers advanced safety features that can alert you to potential dangers around you. And Hyundai has over 130 IIHS Top Safety Awards since 2006. Because Hyundai is always working to ensure the road doesn't. IIHS Top Safety Awards include Top Safety Pick and Top Safety Pick Plus awards to Hyundai vehicles from 2006 to 2025.
Unique and unlike any other sports talk show. It's BetMGM Tonight, Monday through Friday from 7 to 11, only on the Fan.
Upstate.
BetMGM Tonight is the red zone for casual and hardcore sports fans. Live sports betting updates for all of the night's games as they happen. Get the latest scores, sides, totals, props, parlays, futures, and much more with real-time, relevant sports wagertainment tonight at 7. BetMGM Tonight, exclusively on the Fan.
Upstate.
And on the Odyssey app. It's the Rich Eisen Show.
It's amazing how you go from feeling like you're in the penthouse to the outhouse despite having 14 years. But they've got to put that aside. They have to do it. And they've got the talent to do it. They've got the offensive line to protect Darnold enough. And Sam Darnold has got to just look in the mirror and say, I'm good enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon on the Fan. Upstate 97.7 FM, 97.7 FM, Spartanburg, and everywhere on the Odyssey app. morning jolt of sports. It's the Rob Brown Show.
I was to state, when do we know that Aurelian Smith, Jake's originally, is a
616-pound squat for Will Campbell. God.
I'll be back in the morning, and he's gone.
Hold on. Jake the Snake Roberts is afraid of snakes. My childhood is a lie.
Don't hit snooze. Hit play. The Rob Brown Show. Now morning 6 to 10 on the Fan.
The Fan Upstate. WORD Summer.
WFPC HD3 the official sports voice of the Upstate Fan.
Upstate.
Odyssey Sports Station.
And check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Get raw. Only on
The Fan Upstate.
Good morning.
Wonderful. Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
First, I drop my headphones. Then I can't find the right way to put them on.
Yeah, that was a struggle. It was interesting. A lot of fun to watch, though.
That was a struggle. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna figure it out. I've only been doing this 17 years. I'll get it at some point. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show on your radio. Our numero dos starts now. It's Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you. Be a part of the show, 844-326-3663, 844-FANFONE. That is the number to text the radio broadcast. That is also the number to call the radio broadcast should you elect to get it involved with the show. We'd love to have you. I got it. I'm good.
This has to be, I think, the last hour and almost 2 minutes here has to be some sort of record with the amount of things you've dropped today.
I'm struggling, dude. Like I got nothing. I got nothing, and I don't know what is happening.
You know what
right
you
now.
need? You need like some NFL or college receiver gloves. If you have those, maybe you don't drop things as much.
Nah, I mean, I've seen a lot of dudes in football that wear the gloves and still can't catch. I mean, some of us are just defensive players.
Have you ever used Stickum before?
No, I didn't cheat.
Okay. Well, I mean, it depends on the sport. Stickum is allowed in pole vaulting because it helps you hold on to the pole.
This may shock you. There's been no point in my life where I've thought there's a bar 17 feet in the air. I should figure out how to get over it. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, me either. I only cleared 10 feet. But still, I mean, I'm saying it's legal in that sport, and it's probably legal in radio. We could get you some Stickum, spray it on right before we go.
Or I could just quit goofing off. But
yeah, that's the reason.
I didn't
goofing off.
I didn't I'm not gonna lie. I didn't take my my medication this morning, and the brain's just kind of spinning circles in the noggin right now.
You didn't take your nervous
I didn't
pills.
take my twitchy pills this morning. And the noggin is just kind of spinning right now. I'm trying to keep it together over here.
Sorry, I'm not trying to make light of your ailment.
I was very late this morning. I had a oopsie, I fell back asleep moment this morning, which about once a month that'll happen. The alarm will go off. I'll wake up, I'll hit the 5 more minutes button, and then turns out, no, I didn't. Turns out I hit the, no, I'm staying in bed button. And I did that this morning. I hit instead of the 5 more minutes, just 5 more minutes button, I hit the, nah, I'm sleeping till noon button. Fortunately, the puppy decided a number of few minutes later that she was ready to be awake, and she ended up waking me up. The wife looked at me and she goes, "You screwed up." And I went, "Yep, sure did. That's on me. Gotta go. Bye, babe. Love you." Not a great AM. So ran out of the house, sans the ADHD medication, and it is just like, come on, man. Come on. Stop fidgeting. Stop spinning your pen in circles. Stop flipping stuff over. We got this.
This is where I could take advantage of the situation and make it worse, or I could help you stay focused. I haven't decided which way I'm going yet.
It's like a good teammate. Lonzo's trying to decide if he wants to make the show worse or not, which is appreciated.
I'm not quite sure which one makes the show worse, though. I mean,
I think we all know. All right. It is 7:04 in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. You have less than an hour before you've got to get your bootay over to work. And when you do, it's only a short matter of time before you are going to start talking sports with your coworkers. And if you're going to do that, you got to know what's going on. You got to know what's going on. No worries. I got you. We do this.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers say,
"That doesn't work for me, brother."
Before they take their first bathroom break.
Hey, guys!
No.
Here we go.
Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
It is indeed the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you need to know before you get to the office and start talking sports with your coworkers this AM. Once you do, this is what you will be talking about. Let's dive right in with item number 1. Okay. 14 hits. 14 hits for the Braves. So they can do it. It can be done. 14 hits for the Braves last night in a 6-3 win over the Colorado Rockies.
What is anti-panic?
Oh, no. Let's be clear. This is not enthusiasm.
This is not the opposite of panic?
No.
Because it sounds like the opposite.
No.
It almost, I know this is going to sound weird. It almost sounds like enthusiasm.
It's not. Okay? Let's be real clear. Enthusiasm will be stringing a bunch of these together. And
optimism?
No, not yet. Not yet. They are still 2 games below 500. Okay? Now, the march back to 500 is arduous. It's going to be a slog, but they're slogging. The Braves, with a win last night, they win 2 out of the 3 on the road at Arizona. I said, as a matter of fact, yesterday, had lunch with a buddy of mine who is a Bravos fan, and I said to him yesterday, anything but a sweep of the Rockies is unacceptable. This baseball team's awful. This baseball team, the Colorado Rockies, are now a combined 4-24. Lonzo, if I was a Rockies fan, I'd be apoplectic. If I was a Rockies fan, I'm pretty sure I would quit sports talk radio. Because I don't, or I'd get fired from it. Because I don't know, if I was a Rockies fan, how I wouldn't start, continue, and finish every show with the Rockies, the ownership, the fans, this team. Like that would be tough. So anything but a sweep of Colorado, who is 4-24, would be unacceptable. They started the march toward the 3-game sweep with a 6-3 win last night. Colorado jumped out 3-0 in the bottom of the first inning, but those would end up being the only three runs that Bryce Elder surrendered, taking his first win of the year. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Nobody else would give up a run either. Raisel Iglesias would earn the save with 1 inning, 1 hit, no earned runs, and a K in the bottom of the ninth. Good win. 14 hits. Verdugo had a couple. Murphy had a couple. Eli White had a couple. Nick Allen had 3 hits in this game. And again, we're kind of getting to the point in the season where guys are going to be picking up weird little injuries here and there, weird little scuffs here and there. Gonna need some time. You're going to have to start relying on deeper bench players to step in and give you games. Yesterday, the Braves did. These are the important games. Get back to 500 was the goal of one Abe Gordon from 92.9, the game in Atlanta when we had him on Friday. If the Braves sweep this series and go 3-0 in Colorado, they will be a 500 ball club, which I don't want to celebrate, but compared to the start of the season, you opened it up 0-7. Getting back to 500 would be impressive. The Braves, as it stands right now, and I do think this needs to be talked about, have jumped all the way up to third in the NL East. They are no longer the cellar dwellers of the division. Here's what's more interesting. With 2 games to play against the Rockies, assuming that they are both dubs, if Philly drops one of their next 2, the Braves could end up being a single game off of second place in the division. They are 2 games even back of the Philadelphia Phillies. They are 6.5 games back of the Mets. But the Mets right now are getting pitching that nobody saw coming. And if you have a quality to your team that nobody saw coming, ordinarily they're going to come back to the average. At some point, regression to the mean kicks in. I think as good of a start to the season or as bad of a start to the season as the Atlanta Braves had, I think the Mets are the mirror image. They've had a way better than they should be start to the season to reach 20-9. The Mets right now have more wins than any other ball club in Major League Baseball. That includes the Giants and the Dodgers. So they'll come back to the average. The Braves are coming up to the average. It is not optimism. It is not enthusiasm. It is not excitement. You know what it is? Just not hatred. That's it. It's not rage. It's not that I'm sitting here going, yay!
It's not complacency either, because not having hate or rage is you're kind of complacent, right? And I'm just saying there are hints of a little bit of positive emotion coming from that side over there.
If you rage every day, if you know that guy that guy that's mad every day, you know that guy. It's clearly not me. I'm a very happy, positive,
are you sure?
Glowing
Are you
individual.
sure, Mr. Heel Shirt? Are you positive?
I am just the epitome of sunshine and rainbows personified. Okay? You know that guy that's just mad. He's just mad. That's just his personality trait. His personality trait is mad. So, you know that guy that's just mad at the world every day, and then there's that day that he comes in. And by no standards is he suddenly happy, joy. He's just not a raging piece of feces one day. He's just not angry. He just comes in and he's like, yeah, hey, what's up? How are you? And you're like, is that his version of happy? Right? Like, is this his version of happy? Is this his version of normal? That's where I am right now. It's not that I am happy, optimistic, enthusiastic, none of that. I just am not raging against this baseball team. Braves back to third in the NL East. Let's get to item number 2. Couple of games in the NHL last night. The Panthers go over the Lightning 4-2 to take a 3-1 series lead in the Sunshine State Showdown. For the Panthers last night, they got a goal out of Anton Lundell. They got a goal out of Carter Verhaeghe, a goal out of Aaron Ekblad, and a goal out of Seth Jones. Sergei Bobrovsky stopped 18 of the 20 shots against him, as Florida, behind Brad, try to go find themselves another Stanley Cup. The Rats were out last night. Speaking of 6-2, the Stars absolutely destroy the Avalanche last night. It was 2-0 after 1. It was 5-2 after 2. And then there was an empty netter for Dallas, who just kind of parked the bus and locked down to play solid defense down the stretch. You got a pair of goals out of Wyatt Johnston and 4 other scores elsewhere. We'll jump to item number 3. 2 NBA games last night. The Miami Heat, they had a we should disband the franchise performance last night. They get punked by Cleveland 138-83. 22 for Spida Donovan Mitchell, 19 for DeAndre Hunter off the bench, 18 for Ty Jerome, 17 for Evan Mobley in the starting big man role for Cleveland. This team looks dangerous. This Cleveland team looks like it ain't no joke at this point. By the way, Lonzo, I don't know if you watched any of this game last night. I am a all-black uniform fan. I am a simplified logo fan. I do not like Cleveland's black logo with just the red C on the chest. I don't know. I don't really have a reason why. I just don't like the look of it. The black with like red Cleveland or red CLE or like something more to it. But the black with just the red C on the chest, not my favorite look. That's all I have for that. 109-106, the Warriors knock off the Rockets. They now have the Rockets in danger of the gentleman's sweep.
Wait, what's wrong with that? I mean, I'm looking at it. It looks all right.
I literally said I don't know why I don't like it. I just don't.
Yeah,
it's just it's my least favorite playoff uniform.
It makes the C stand out, which is kind of the point, I suppose.
No, I'll tell you why. I am not a fan of uniforms that don't have contrast. And to have a dark red C on a dark black jersey, like the contrast isn't there. It doesn't stand out to me. I don't know. I don't really have a take on it. I just don't like it. And I'm pulling for Cleveland. I like Cleveland. I like this team. I like Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell deserves to be inside of the best players in the league conversation. I think he deserves an opportunity to be mentioned because I think Spida is one of the best players in the league. I got a soft spot for the land. I just hate those jerseys. I don't have an explanation. 109-106, Golden State knocks off Houston. The Rockets now have their backs against elimination. The Dubs last night got 27 out of playoff Jimmy, 26 out of Brandon Podziemski. They got 17 out of Steph Curry, who did not have a night, 6 of 13, 2 of 8 from behind the arc, had 3 boards and just 3 assists in this game. Here's what
who's that Brandon guy you mentioned? Who's that guy?
The young man out of Santa Clara College, 6'4", 205. He's obviously the next Steph Curry. Obviously. No, here's the thing about this Golden State team last night. They got Jimmy Butler back. Jimmy Butler was playoff Jimmy back. And by the way, thanks to Dillon Brooks for bringing out emo Jimmy. Don't waste your time on me. I just scored another. Okay, I'm not going to do that. He brought out emo Jimmy, and I was here for it. And in bringing out emo Jimmy, which Dillon Brooks, in retrospect, shouldn't have done, and bringing out playoff Jimmy, emo Jimmy, fallout Jimmy Butler, the Warriors were able to win despite the fact that they did not get a night out of Steph Curry, right? If you are playing the Golden State Warriors, and I'm talking in the regular season, in the playoffs, whatever, if you are lined up across from Golden State, your best bet is Steph Curry not to have a night. If Steph Curry does not have a night, you give yourself a chance. If Steph Curry does not have a night, you give yourself an opportunity. Steph Curry did not have a night last night. Houston needed to be able to win that game. But because Dillon Brooks got Jimmy Butler all hot and bothered, Jimmy B went off for 27 and made up for what Steph couldn't do. And because he went off for what Steph couldn't do, Houston lost this game and, in my opinion, lost the series. Which is fine for me because I got a ticket out 3.5-1 for Golden State to win this series in the opening tip, which I took the minute Jimmy Butler showed up. All right. Could take a break, come back here in a minute. It was touched upon yesterday. There's a conversation happening right now on the internet about the physical prowess of us, normal, average, everyday dudes out here in Sportslandia. And I feel compelled to address it. I feel that we need to have a conversation. America, men of America, we need to chat. Because some of y'all overestimate yourselves a lot. We're going to talk about that next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Was that still trending?
Yes. People were coming up with, and since we're talking about it, I will. People were coming up with who their army, their 100.
Okay, so I don't have an issue with that. What I do have an issue with is that the question started under the guise of 100 average dudes. Like, you don't get to pick Francis Ngannou. It's just you and 100 people around you.
Yeah, because you, when asked a question, never add stuff to it.
Exactly. That would be disingenuous.
Yeah, you would never do anything like that. I wonder what that alarm is actually for.
Because there is without giving too much away, there's a website that I have to check into throughout the day. I am not in any sort of legal trouble. Yeah, I'm an open book. There's definitely lack of today for sure. Ba-ba-bum. It's supposed to rain right after the show is over.
That might be why suddenly I could not move yesterday.
Because of the weather?
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that.
Be right back, guys. Stay right there.
Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn of the century.
Okay, it's a sports show. We're going to talk sports, but it's an all the things show too. We like that. We like to have fun here.
By the way, this is competition. I don't know why you need to justify. It's definitely competition, and it's definitely a sports question. But Mr. Science has already poo-pooed it and going to try to poo-poo it even further.
Mr. Science. I don't think there's any.
You're
I guess
you're
there's.
about as qualified as your heroes that are on TV.
I guess
So-
there's some science here. Buddy, if you don't think I'm taking an astrophysicist advice over
Buddy.
guy on the street.
Pal.
So, a handful of days ago, a dude put up some dude put up a tweet that went viral.
Some rando.
It was just some dude. Just some dude put up a tweet that went viral. And the tweet was asking a question of, I mean, let's be real here, the dudes on the internet. Okay? And the question was, could 100 average dudes defeat one silverback gorilla in combat? And this conversation has not just been raging on the internet for a couple of days. This conversation has taken over. It's everywhere. This was brought up on no less than 3 different podcasts that I heard yesterday.
Are you offended? Are you surprised? I mean, it's a cool question, I think.
Offended? No, I am not. It is a fun question. However, I think it brings up the fact, I think we have a problem in this country, and that problem is average dudes who think they are way more than they actually are.
All right. So what is an average guy? I mean, to Rob Brown, I mean, I can look up what, the internet says an average guy is. What's an average guy's height, weight?
No, you're
strength?
taking the word very literally here.
Because you're the one who said it.
Right.
And
you
when
are,
it comes to these kind of discussions, you want to get into the tail of the tape. And I'm curious.
You are taking the word average to mean a 100 men of the average height and weight. I'm just talking about dudes, dudes that are not hitting the gym every day. We're not out there doing sports every day. We're just dudes living our lives.
I was just thinking about this morning. I was watching Sports Center and they're showing a couple of baseball games, and guys who go to baseball games basically all look the same, especially the younger guys, a little bit stocky, probably 5'8" to 5'9", caps on backwards. There's a stereotype to baseball guy. And so I'm wondering if that's your average guy. When you think of average guy, do you think of guy in baseball stadium?
I mean, sure.
I mean, you can't look around here because ain't nobody average around here.
But here's the thing. Average dude. Stone Man's an average dude.
No, he's not.
Stone Man's an average.
He is not.
Just stop.
And I'm not being mean.
No, I know
He's
you're not. You're taking average as set of numbers, height, weight, arm length, whatever.
That's what
I'm not talking
is.
about.
It takes the tallest and the shortest.
I understand. I am using the word average not in terms of tail of the tape.
Oh, you mean not spectacular? Just normal. Average as in normal guy.
Yes, just normal dudes.
Why not say normal? When you say average, it takes it to a different.
Because I think the term "the average guy" is a pretty accepted phrase. But normal dudes.
Maybe
dudes
I'm just trying to
lives.
come from your perspective to try to understand where you're going.
Here's where I'm going. No, you couldn't. Okay? No, you couldn't. You and 100 average dudes, you and 99 average dudes cannot take down a gorilla.
All right? So
you can't do it.
They have changed the question and it bothers you because now they've taken the average out of it and they're starting to put in monstrous human beings in their 100.
Here's the thing. Let's be
clear. One of which was trending, which was Brock Lesnar.
I don't think 100 Brock Lesnars could take down a silverback gorilla. That's kind of the point of all of this is the conversation. There are 2 separate conversations going now. Conversation number 1 is Could 100 average dudes, right? Just average dudes. Go down to the bar, go down to the ball game, go walk around downtown, take the first 100 dudes you see, unleash them in a zoo with a out of containment silverback gorilla and say anybody still alive at the end of this competition gets $1 million if y'all can get this silverback gorilla subdued and back in its cage. You can't. All right. And I saw yesterday when this got brought up on Twitter trending topics, friend of the show, Joey B, popped in and he's like, well, you could do it. You'd have to use swarm tactics. Look, there's only so much surface area to a gorilla. All right. There's not enough room for 100 dudes to get hands on a gorilla. And there's not enough surface area.
It's sheer impact and weight on top. If you can get 100 guys on top of however many you can get in that small space, which might be like 20, 25 maybe on top of him. And while the ones underneath are going to take some pain, if they can get some blows in, I mean, it's life or death. So you're trying to kill the adversary. So, and hand to hand, I don't know how you would do that against a gorilla. Maybe eyeballs would be the first place to go, I would think. Because blind raging gorilla, at least you may have a better shot.
Okay, let me stop where we are now because that's the strategy I've seen employed. A gorilla, the average silverback gorilla weighs about 425 pounds. Let's say 400. All right, let's say a slightly below, just for the sake of easy numbers. A gorilla can also lift up to 12 times its body weight. Yes, I did the research yesterday. 12 times its body weight. Now, I'm bad at math, but 400 pounds, 12 times over is a lot of people. It's about 4,800 pounds of people. That is 24 200-pound men.
All right.
24.
Conversations like this make me wonder how you get invited to parties. Because you take all the fun out of it. I mean, can't your sciencey mind just go, well, that's kind of cool. I'd like to see that. And now, I mean, people are putting up cartoons and videos and all kinds of stuff.
Why.
And they're having fun. And you're just wanting to kill it.
And I will tell you why. The reason why is because, yes, this conversation should be fun. It should be dudes standing around.
Then why are you trying to make it the
I'm trying
opposite?
to explain it. A bunch of dudes standing around going, well, if we had to fight a silverback gorilla, here's how we do it. Fun. Okay? The problem is I have come to the recognition, realization, and conclusion that there's a bunch of dudes out there that, honest to God, feel like they could outbox a silverback gorilla. I don't know if y'all know this. When silverback gorillas are in the wild, do you know what they do? They fight other gorillas.
Yeah. Well, and so you are surprised by the self-conceit, I guess, of other guys. And you've been in bars with people, and there are a bunch of country songs written about being 10 feet tall and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just being a guy.
The problem I have with it is not the being a guy angle, because you have better. I got a call a couple of days ago from a couple of dudes who do a baseball podcast here in town. And they said, hey, we got this new segment idea where instead of having our guests come in and sit down and do an interview, what we want to do is go out to a ballpark and we want to play. One of us is a former high school pitcher. He's going to throw at you, right? You're going to stand in the box and you're going to take cuts and try to hit him. But we're going to do the interview while we do that. We're going to go out. We're going to go play catch, have a catch out in the outfield. But we're going to interview you while we're doing that as this new thing. And I thought that's a really, really cool idea. So I'm talking to the guy and I'm like, what do you throw? And he's like, well, I was touching like 89, 90 when I was in high school. I'm throwing about 81, 82 here. And in my head, I went, I can hit that. I can hit that. The problem is I couldn't hit that in high school. When I was playing baseball, I couldn't hit 90.
Yeah, but your scientific mind has developed, and now your understanding of physics as you've gotten older will help you be able to hit that ball now.
I understand the science behind make ball spin this way, and this is why a breaking ball breaks. Okay? This is why it breaks. That doesn't mean you can hit it. Do I understand the right way to take down a silverback gorilla? Yes. Put 100 dudes on top of it and just pin him down. But here's the thing.
No fun,
Number
man.
one, you got to get close enough to him to get hands on. Number two, I don't know if you know this, gorillas are fast as hell. All he's got to do is just start train wrecking in circles. And who's laying and keeping hands to just get him down in the first place? Some of y'all got way too much confidence in yourselves, completely unjustified.
There will be some sacrifices. There are in every battle.
Yeah, 100 of them. There will be 100 dead people at the end of this fight.
Wow. It's like 40 hit, and then you're just no fun anymore.
Have you ever seen a gorilla's teeth? Their fangs are that big. He's allowed to bite. This isn't like, all right, we agree with the gorilla that it's only punches, right? No, it's a gorilla.
Well, the humans can bite also.
No, you 100. I don't know if you know this. We don't have 6-inch long fangs. You're not piercing a gorilla with your tiny little embarrassing chompers.
What was
this thing is evolved to rip flesh from bone.
What was it?
You are evolved
Viscera?
to be
Who
flesh.
was the guy who sharpened his teeth? You know,
is that the average dude? No.
It isn't.
No,
it isn't Gray Court.
Well, I can't help you with that. Maybe in Gray Court, 100 of y'all could take down a gorilla, but no, America. You 100 of whoever you think's showing up are not taking down a gorilla, and some of you unjustifiably confident fellas need to chill TF out. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Your reality is a reason why some people can't have fun. That's all.
I think that is fun.
What? Sounds contrarian to me. Everybody else is going one way, and you're going a totally different way.
You could not fight a gorilla. Sorry. I mean, whatever. You could not take down a gorilla.
So, no human beings exist in the jungle where the gorillas are.
No, if yes,
they have to survive somehow.
because they have guns and weaponry. I'm talking just fist fighting a gorilla. You're not winning that. I'll give you sticks. You're not winning that fight. Be right back, guys. celebrities. We're starting to see athletes, former athletes, etc., get more active in college athletics. We had the story a couple of days ago about Max Crosby, the defensive end for the Las Vegas Raiders, who has become the general manager of the football team at Western Michigan or Eastern Michigan? Directional Michigan. He became the GM.
It's someplace in Michigan.
He became the GM at Directional Michigan University.
I can call a guy. You want me to?
No, we're good.
I think I still have his number.
Directional Michigan University. Now, Max Crosby is an active National Football League player. Not just an active National Football League player. He is an active Pro Bowl caliber National Football League player. And I said, when that deal happened.
Eastern, by the way.
Eastern Michigan. I said when that deal happened, do not be shocked when you start to see more and more names, athletes, celebrities asked to and willingly get involved with running collegiate athletic departments or teams as their general manager. It is going to be something that is going to become routine, common. And that is because the job of the GM is not just to run the franchise, or in this case, the program. It is talent evaluation, which who's going to be more adept at evaluating talent than a guy who is either in or was in the game. And there's another aspect, which is it's college sports, raising money. It's getting people involved in the booster club. It's getting people involved in the NIL collective for however much longer NIL collectives exist. Because once the House settlement is finished up in about a week from now, week and a half from now, assuming it is, it may still go to trial, in which case the NCAA is going to have its backside handed to him. The GM's job is to raise money for the booster for the collective. And as we talked about that day, it might be one thing if you get a phone call that says, hey, noted and valuable alumni of Directional Michigan University. This is Jimmy. I'm the chairman. I'm the GM. I own Jimmy's Used Cars here in Directional Michigan. And I would be very appreciative if you would send a check for $5,000 to Directional Michigan University so that we can put it in our NIL fund and get some more players. And you might go, yeah, all right, Jimmy. It's another thing if you answer the phone and it's, this is Max Crosby, give me money, which I assume is how he talks to people. I'm much more likely at that point to give money, right? I mean, that's just the way America works. So there is a new celebrity / former athlete general manager that has just stepped into a role. Sacramento State basketball. Why are you bringing up Sacramento State basketball, Rob? Very simple. Because the smaller schools, like a Sacramento State, they are the ones who do the experiments. And once the experiments happen at the lower level, if they work, they are adopted at the upper level. And if they fail, no harm, no foul, we move on to the next one. Sacramento State has just signed a new general manager for their basketball program. He is the one, the only, the big cactus, the big Aristotle, the big diesel, Shaquille O'Neal has just signed on to be the new GM for Sacramento State. Now, this is very interesting because he has signed on to be the new GM for Sacramento State, but he has done so as an unpaid voluntary position. He will step in to work with new head coach Mike Bibby, who is taking over in the role. So they are heavy leaning into, we have not just former NBA players involved in the program, but we have very good NBA players, guys who didn't just make it to the league, but thrived in the league. Mike Bibby was one of my favorite players to watch play back in the day. Shaquille O'Neal was one of my favorite players to watch play back in the day. Two guys that went on to have wildly successful careers in the NBA are now running the program both as GM and head coach. Now, Shaq joined on because his son, Shakir, plays for Mike Bibby at Sacramento State, but he is not even the first NBA guy to join this role. Davidson last month announced that they have a new assistant GM. And Lonzo, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit embarrassed because this flew under the radar for me. I did not know this. I didn't see it. I didn't catch it. Davidson has a new assistant general manager, Steph Curry. Oklahoma has a new assistant general manager for basketball, Trae Young from the Atlanta Hawks. And it's not just basketball that is doing it. This one we did talk about a couple of weeks ago because this one is kind of one that put this whole development mentality, whatever you want to call it, on the radar. Stanford football has a new general manager. It is Andrew Luck, the former NFL quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. This is going to be common. In fact, I wouldn't even say it is going to be common. I think with some of the names that we just mentioned that include active players, Hall of Fame players, players from different sports in the different respective sports at the colleges, I don't think grabbing elite celebrity caliber players to be general manager will be common. I think we can go ahead and say it's common now. Like, this is the methodology.
Have you been asked to GM your alma mater yet?
I have not. Dear University of West Florida Argonauts, if you need somebody to come in and GM for you, I got you. Now, I work in radio, so I cannot do it on an unpaid voluntary status. As Lonzo can tell you, if I'm taking on job number 39, daddy needs that paper. But I would be willing to have the contract negotiations with you, University of West Florida Argonauts. I don't have a problem with it. This isn't me bringing this up because I have any sort of issue with it. I really don't. I get it. It's advertising, right? It's advertising. What I am actually very curious about is how much of a say, if any, does Steph Curry have at Davidson? Does Trae Young have at Oklahoma? Does Shaquille O'Neal have at Sacramento State? And number two, for the ones who are taking this as a sincere job, right? Like Shaq's doing it to help out his kid who's playing his basketball there at Sacramento State. I get it. But for the ones who are taking this role on,
is he getting the same kind of heat that Deion Sanders did for?
I mean,
it's not.
If I'd asked you 10 seconds ago, what's Shaq's kid's name? You couldn't have told me. And by you, I mean the royal you. I mean most of you. I mean probably any of you.
He has more than one, I believe.
He does. If I would have said the one that's playing at Sacramento State, what's his name? I assume the overwhelming majority of you would have had to say, I got no clue. You'd have gotten close because you'd have guessed Shaq.
Right.
And you'd have been close.
Right.
But for the ones who are doing this in a celebrity role, right? And Shaq, I don't know if he's going to be in that role. Trae Young, while he continues to play NBA basketball. Steph Curry, as he continues to be the second most visible player in the National Basketball Association. I don't know how much sway or how much importance they are going to have in this conversation. I don't know how much they are going to actually do versus just be glorified fundraisers. There are some that are genuinely getting involved. Andrew Luck at Stanford has been genuinely involved. He is making actual sports decisions. He is doing press conferences. He is announcing news from within the program.
He's also not an active player, and I don't know that he has a
correct
job. So yeah,
correct. So it is obviously
if he handled his money right, he doesn't need to work anymore. So, but still.
So with a guy like that, it's like, okay, he's clearly here to make a difference. Like he's clearly here to run the program. Guys like Trae Young, guys like Steph Curry, I don't know how active, how hands-on they will be in terms of running the program, in terms of making decisions, in terms of being invested and involved. I don't know. What I am curious is, are we going to see that pick up any? And if so, how much power are schools going to hand effectively celebrity general managers? Guys like an Andrew Luck, clearly they're saying, hey, you're a football guy. You're a football dude. So come in and help us make football decisions. Shaq is very clearly a basketball guy. He's also very clearly a very busy guy. He's got Inside the NBA on TNT for another couple of weeks. I believe he is going to, along with the rest of that crew, get picked up somewhere, right? But he's a busy guy. He's got that. He's got his DJing going on where he's playing concerts at clubs. He got kids that he's trying to take care of. He's got a family, yada, yada, yada. Is he going to be actively and actually involved with Sacramento State University basketball? Or does Shaq just pick up the phone every now and then, call the donor list and go, hey, Shaquille O'Neal, can I get $2,000 to put into the NIL fund, please? And just make the fund. I mean, I don't know. I'm intrigued to see if the smaller schools that are doing this, Stanford, Davidson, Sacramento State, etc., I'm interested to see if this works. I don't know where to go find the financials of Sacramento State University. But if we get to the end of this offseason and we come into next year and we go look those up and we see that Sacramento State has increased their donations number by 50, 75, 100, 150%, and we can attribute that directly to Shaquille O'Neal, don't be shocked if we start to see power programs, SEC, Big Ten, ACC programs that start bringing in celebrity and former athletes to serve as general managers, because let's be real, why wouldn't you? Now, I don't know how much it's going to matter because you can just have a celebrity GM, name them assistant general manager, have an actual general manager that is in charge of working with the coach for roster construction, that is in charge of working hands-on with the collective to make sure they got everything they need. And you can just let Shaq make the, hey, Shaquille O'Neal, and I need $5,000 phone call and get that money. But it's just a, this is nothing more than a, hey man, college football is changing. Get off my lawn.
I know we have short time here, but I'm just curious, would a celebrity asking you for money make you give up your money quicker than just an average person?
What they said. Well, I mean, the answer to that is, whether you like it or not, the answer is yes, because let's be real, celebrity endorsements are everywhere. That's not for nothing.
I'm talking about a personal phone call.
Personal phone call for me, I guess it would depend, right? Like, I don't know.
So if some random person calls you and asks you to donate to your college of choice, but then Shaq calls, suddenly you're like, do you feel obligated because Shaq took the time to call you?
I probably don't care that much.
I'm just wondering how they really influence getting money. Are you getting little bits here and there, or are you getting big name donors because they're because they're now helping.
I am probably the most famous alum from the University of West Florida.
I don't know.
All
Didn't
right?
you check the one?
No, that's not true. Roy
Yeah.
Jones Jr. went to
Yeah.
UWF. I just forgot about that.
I'll say.
Okay, so me and Roy Jones Jr. are the two most famous alum of the University of West Florida. If UWF, who regularly does reach out to me asking for donations, and I've made a few, all right, I can't do it every semester, but I've made a few to the football, the basketball program. I like see they won a national championship their first year. I'll give a little cashola to see the Nautiloid represented nationally for sure.
See, my alma mater, Otterbein, would be Tackleberry from Police Academy. If he calls me, or one of the Creed brothers from WWE.
I mean, that's pretty good. Like, if I get a phone call from the president of the university going, hey, can I get another $500? Be like, I've kind of given you a lot, and I work in radio, so probably not. But if I get a call from, hey, it's Roy Jones Jr., can you spot the UW 50? I'd be like, yeah, whatever you say, Roy. I got you, dog. No worries, right? Like, that's how celebrity endorsements work. So
Yeah,
I'm intrigued to see.
You can't really use that because you kind of worked with four.
That's also true.
Jones
If Roy
Jr.
calls me, I'm going to be like, sup, bro? Been a minute. How you been, bud?
Yeah.
How you been, dog? Miss you, bro. When we hanging out, Roy, RJJ, greatest pound for pounder of all time. Now I'm just looking through the famous alumni of UWF. Should I add myself on the Wikipedia?
Why wouldn't you? No, you should. You absolutely should. Why not?
The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. Sports Flash.
You have won awards, so why not?
I'm doing it. Next break.
The Atlanta Braves started a 3-game set against the Rockies with a 6-3 win last night. Bryce Elder secured the win with a 6-inning, 5-hit, 3-run night with 4 Ks, while the Braves tagged Colorado starter Ryan Feltner for 10 of the 14 hits. 2 Stanley Cup playoff games last night. The Panthers knocked off the Lightning 4-2 to earn a 3-1 lead over Tampa, and the Stars lead the Avalanche 3-2 after a 6-2 blitz of Colorado. It was confirmed that Damian Lillard will miss the rest of the NBA playoffs with a torn Achilles heel, according to the Milwaukee Bucks. Lillard suffered the injury during a 129-103 loss to Indiana in Game 4 while trying to keep a rebound alive. Hour number 3 of the Rob Brown Show is next, right here on the Fan Upstate.
It's an extra 15 to 20 minutes from Spartanburg to Greenville right now. And Highway 14 is all tied up at Pelham Road. And you may encounter roadwork along Whitehorse today. From the News Talk 98.9 WLRD Traffic Center, I'm Dillon Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
Electricity comes to the White House. We'll discuss as we take a bite out of history with Ingalls Park. The White House was built in 1792, but has only had electricity for the last century. Electricity first flowed through the White House in 1891 during the presidency of Benjamin Harrison. The city of D.C. didn't have an established electrical system until the Capitol Power Plant began supplying the city in 1910. So Army engineers installed a generator system in the now Eisenhower Executive Building next door to the White House to supply both buildings. The 23rd President, Benjamin Harrison, and his wife, Caroline, didn't trust the new technology and refused to turn any of the new electrical lights on or off anywhere in the White House for fear of electrocution. The task was exclusively done by staff members only. The electrical system has been upgraded multiple times with additions and remodels over the years. One president famous for his use of the lights in the White House was Lyndon Johnson, who hated waste and was known to walk through and turn off all the lights in rooms that were not being used, sometimes in rooms that were actually being used, giving him the name Light Bulb Johnson among staffers. This has been a bite out of history with Ingalls Park.
For over 8 years, QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain with over 50,000 satisfied patients. People with knee and back pain now living pain-free. Shoulder and hip pain gone. Hey, it's Charlie James. What they're doing is nothing short of remarkable. They're using regenerative cell therapy to restore the tissue in your achy joints. They're using biologic growth factors with robust healing properties, carefully and strategically placed in your joint. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joint new life.
My wife keeps wishing to win the lottery that we don't play. Like, that sounds like it's going to reduce the odds, which were already astronomical.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I'm working on it. working on it.
Anyway, yes, officially those are for the studio.
Okay.
But again, I don't mind sending one home.
Especially since he like announced it to the entire world by talking about it on the stream. So I mean, there's that. Just saying.
I don't know how to edit Wikipedia, but I'm about to learn. I'm adding myself to the.
Yeah, I heard.
That's the real reason Chris is here to help you do this.
Edit source.
Yeah, no, I'm there, but it's like programming.
You don't want to commit some sort of crime here.
It really is,
especially while we're on stream.
And there may be a better way.
I want to say there was like a read only way to do it.
HVAC and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time
read it,
and
just
on
yeah.
Not an accomplice, witness. I'm just putting that out there.
Editing a Wikipedia page is not a
well, frankly.
Plus, I think other people have to confirm it before it goes up.
Technically.
Wow, he sure does sound like he knows a lot about this.
That's one of the problems with Wikipedia. That's why you
Oh,
can't.
no, I agree.
That's why you can't use Wikipedia as a source,
Right.
Because
Anyone
anybody
can
write
go in,
anything.
yeah.
You can just go on there and write whatever you want, and then cite yourself.
Which people do on occasion, yes.
Sure. So, but anyway, if you scroll down, you will see that in amongst the gobbledygook, there are these little brackets are links. You know, they're it's linking to you could link to the Rob P. Brown page. I know that's not your middle initial, but I thought it was more funny.
Sorry, in a
than
moment
your
of
actual
frustration, I actually screamed my full name on the radio earlier. So.
Yeah, I already forgot his middle name. It was yeah. And he said it before.
The point is that this is just regular text. This
Yeah.
will appear as regular text, and then if you put the little brackets around it, then it'll be.
All right, well, I'm not linking to any. Maybe I do. Maybe I'm going to. Oh, I have lessons thrown today. I'm going to be a programmer, guys. I'm a totes hacker.
No hard feelings, Point Break.
Wonderful. Does it say something I don't want it to say about me if I add myself to the notable alumni section of my college's Wikipedia page? Does that make me a conceited turd, or is that fair game? I feel like it's kind of fair game. I've been a broadcaster 17 years. I feel like it's fair game.
You've won multiple awards. You've got your picture on the side of a building.
I do.
I mean, there's a lot of things.
Maybe that's what I link it to. Maybe I add that. I link it to the show page and then have add a picture of my face on the side of the building.
There you go. I mean, that looks like fame to me.
Is that okay? So that y'all know, and I think most of you that have listened to the show for any length of time have figured out. I have fun on the show pretending to be, but am not actually a pretentious turd biscuit. All right. I'm really not. I have a big head physically, but I'm not a massive egomaniac. I do think you have to have let's keep it a buck. You have to have an ego to do this job. I've said this before. Because you have to be able to convince yourself that you are entertaining enough that people want to hear your voice for 3 to 4 hours a day, every day, right? And to believe that that is true, you do have to have a bit of an ego. But the majority of my conceit on the air is usually just kind of like playing a gimmick, just having fun, just goofing off, whatever. I absolutely want to add myself to the notable alumni section of my university's Wikipedia page. And I don't know what that says about me. I don't know if that is that too much? I'm going to do it anyway. But
I think we all know by the excitement in your voice and the fact that an engineer was employed. You didn't ask him. He heard and he wants to help because mischief. And so I think you're also proving something that I was curious about. We've also always heard that anybody can go on and edit Wikipedia. So now I want to see how much effort it takes for you to actually do it.
I mean, anybody can. It has over the years developed, or at least what I learned during the break, because I just also realized I've never actually edited a Wikipedia article before. What I will say is that people can also go in and challenge your edits. So like you can't just say anything on there because it can be challenged. And so I'm going to add myself, and then I'm going to see how long it takes before somebody goes, no, random dude who happened to luck into a good career.
Listen,
no.
I don't want to diminish or say that the college that you went to is small and insignificant by a certain degree. I don't think they're going to care. And there's only one way to find out. I mean, when you go to a small school, it's not like you're putting down, I don't know, Alabama or something like that. And maybe someone would get up. Oh, you didn't go to Bama?
He didn't go to Bama.
Exactly.
That's true.
Exactly. But you
I went to the University of West Florida, or as we regularly refer to it, the University of Lower Alabama.
Right. So, but I think they would be proud to have you on their Wikipedia page.
Well, we're going to find out as soon as I learn how to do that. It is happening. All right. Texter said, let's see here. Texter said, Andrew Luck announced the firing of the football coach. He is taking it on. Yeah, I think Andrew Luck is the premier in this conversation, right? But Andrew Luck is, as we have mentioned, retired, not playing football anymore, still a young cat, still a cat with a lot of working years left in him if he elects to do so. I don't think Andrew Luck has to, but if he wants to, he can. And now he's involved in football. On top of that, should Andrew Luck ever get to the point where Andrew Luck wants to make it into the National Football League as an admin of some sort, he has, what a stepping stone, right? If he goes in and he is able to take California-based Stanford in the Atlantic Coast Conference to the next level, that makes him look real good in the eyes of the NFL. I'm less interested in the Andrew Lucks and more interested in the Steph Currys, more interested in the Trae Youngs, more interested in the active players or active broadcasters who very clearly are busy. What is their role within a college sports administration as a general manager? What is their role? What are their goals? What are they going to set out to accomplish? What are they going to do? Or are they just figureheads within colleges and universities? Are they just there to be glorified fundraisers? And for the record, I don't care either way. If they are there just to be the guys that make phone calls and say, hey, Shaquille O'Neal, I need $10,000. Can I please have $10,000? And they get it? That's great. That's great. You cannot survive. Forget thrive. You cannot survive in college athletics anymore unless you got a cash flow, man. Unless you got a cash flow. We told you last week that the University of Kentucky, y'all, has floated the idea, and I have not heard if it passed or not yet. I actually need to go research that. But was approaching their board of directors last Friday with the concept of transforming their athletic department into an LLC, making their athletic department an actual business. Hey, House Settlement says we revenue share. We got to, if we take in money, we got to pay the players. They don't have to. We can pay the players out for their part in raising this revenue. Fine. We're going to make ourselves an LLC. Making ourselves an LLC will protect us should any of the players go rogue and sign a lawsuit against us. It will protect us from should the NCAA get sued again in the future. And should that lawsuit fall down onto the schools itself, We are protected from losing our assets to pay this off, whatever. It is morphing into a set of businesses playing under an umbrella. Like what's the word I'm looking for here? Franchises involved in a league or association professionally.
Oh, you mean like the NFL or the NBA?
Oh, I didn't say that out loud.
I was trying to get a point of reference. That's all.
Yeah, I just said it's almost like franchises playing inside of again, just pulling words out of the ether here, league or association, right? But almost like they're using it as a shield, right? Maybe they could write their letters across the front of that shield.
Okay, I don't get that one, but I got all the other ones.
The NFL, the logo is called the shield.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Hypothetically is what I'm talking about here, though. So it makes sense, much like large businesses do. When a large business wants to promote itself, when a large business wants to up its cash flow, what do? They go and they grab celebrities. And they say, hey, Harrison Ford, will you pimp out our vehicles for us? And they send Harrison Ford and their vehicle out to some farm somewhere and have him pretend he's just some regular blue-collar guy.
All right, missed this earlier, but it's missed it by like a half hour. George Kittle and 49ers agreed to terms on a 4-year, $76.4 million contract extension, $40 million guaranteed, making him the NFL's highest paid tight end. He was sitting out. He hasn't been at voluntary workouts. He was at WrestleMania though.
He was at WrestleMania.
Yes.
And the Raw after WrestleMania.
Yes, he was.
Because of course, why wouldn't he be? Checks out. No issue with that. They got as much as the 49ers have gone through this offseason and as much as they have lost in terms of talent, keeping George Kittle, a.k.a. Brock Purdy's BFF in the offense on the field kind of became a massive priority, right? Like kind of became the thing they had to do.
Turns out he was a 5th round draft pick.
Turns out you can get some dogs late in the game if you know what you're looking for. By the way, breaking news brought to you by BetQL and the BetMGM Network. Pick up their app. And don't forget to listen to the Best Bet for the Cycle radio program every Saturday from noon to 4, hosted by myself and former Major League Baseball player Cody Decker. So this college thing, they're just businesses now. And when businesses need to get money in, they grab a celebrity. That is why you flip on the TV channel and you have athletes selling you stuff and movie stars selling you stuff. And I got Sabrina Carpenter out here telling me how much she likes to shake her espresso by Dunkin'. I got Affleck and Damon dressed in tracksuits talking how much they love donuts or whatever, right? You use celebrities because people pay attention to what they have to say. Is that dumb? I mean, it doesn't really matter. It works. And so now you have colleges and universities that are basically following that methodology. Oh, we have to have money to survive. It's not an option. We have to have money to survive. And if you have to have money to survive, how do you get that cash flow in? You get Shaq to pick up the phone. You get Steph Curry to pick up the phone. You get Trae Young to call the good people around Oklahoma and say, "Hey, y'all remember when I was there and I took you guys to some tournaments and we won some tournament games? You guys remember that? How about you pay me back by putting a few G into the coffers, by adding to the collective a little bit?" And if it works, it works. I am curious to see if we ever find out what the decision-making power of these people is going to be, or if they are just there as glorified celebrity endorsements. Here's my question. You are now in charge of this for your program. Who's your big celebrity that you're calling in to do the endorsements? Who's your big celebrity that you're calling in to make the phone calls and fundraise for your NIL collective and fundraise for your school, fundraise for your football program, your basketball program, whatever? Who's the guy, the gal that you are saying, hey, we need some money, so we need you working the phone lines for us? So who's Ohio State's guy that they're calling right now to say, get on the horn and help us raise some cash money?
Just about any former player. I mean, especially, I don't know, maybe CJ Stroud, one of the Bosas. There are quite a few in the NFL right now.
That's true. There are some Buckeyes in the league. Just any member of the New Orleans Saints, I guess. Just pick one. Just throw a dartboard at the Saints roster.
That's pretty true.
No, it's not. You want people who are successful. God, I hate my football team.
I named all the ones that were. So
yeah, no, I know. I was making a crack about it, how my basketball teams or my football team's bad. Oh, my basketball team's bad too. For the exact same reasons, as a matter of fact. Same owner, same GM. Makes sense.
I don't know. AJ Hawk calls me. I'm probably going, yeah, I only got $50, but you can have it.
But that's what I'm saying, right? Isn't that kind of the point? It's right now, if the GM of your football team calls, they would have to tell you that they're the GM of your football team, right? Like, who's the GM of your football team right now? Does your team even have a GM right now? I'm going to suspect most of us don't know. But if Zoe gets a call from AJ Hawk that says, hey, Zoe, I just saw your name on the alumni list, and I was wondering, could you toss us a couple of GER? And Lonzo's like, yeah, I got a couple of milli left in the bank. I can fork some over because you're AJ Hawk, right? But if
I think it takes a little bit more than that. I'm just guessing, if I were an alumnus of Ohio State and I did have that kind of money, I think I got to have at least a little bit of a conversation. I don't think you automatically go, oh my gosh, Mr. Hawk, thank you. Yeah. Do you need my PIN? I mean, a PIN code. What do you need? I'll give you anything. I think we got to have at least 5-10 minutes of conversation before I'm just automatically opening up the checkbook.
Put Ryan Day on the phone, or no. Give me Ryan. Put Will Howard on the line, and I'll think about it.
I just thought about, another alumnus that could give you a call and you would say, okay, how much you need is Mike Vrabel, because you'd just be scared.
That's not unfair. Give me money.
Okay. Dude,
you got it, boss.
Yeah.
You bought it. You got it, boss.
You want me to bring it to you personally? I mean,
Forget my PIN. I'm just going to give you the whole ass bank account number. You ready, Mike? All right, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. We have talked some NBA playoff games from last night. Let's take a look at some NBA playoff games tonight, because we've got 4 of them on the docket. Indiana can cap their series against the Bucks tonight. The Knicks can cap their series against the Pistons tonight. The Celtics can cap their series against the Magic tonight. And LA, the Clippers edition, and the Nuggets square at 2-2. I despise that game starts at 10 o'clock tonight. I have to take a nappy nap today because I have got to be awake for that game tonight when it tips off. It's not an option. So we'll talk about those games and more when we come back. The Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate.
I don't know if that's real or not, but someone put up Seth Rollins' outfit. I don't know if you wore what
wearing costing like $13,000.
10,218 euro. I don't know.
Yeah, somebody put up the conversion. It's like 13,500, I think. And if you think I wouldn't wear that jacket,
I just want the money to be able to afford that jacket.
Oh, me too.
If I had it, I probably would wear it.
For people who are rich, money's not real. Be right back, guys. Stay right there for me, please, and thank you. NBA games on tap this evening. 3 of them have a team on the brink of elimination. And that says right now all I need to say about round 1 of the NBA. I am not a less sports guy. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm a more sports guy. However, and this is going to be weird coming from me, I think, for a lot of you, but hear me out before you cast judgment or aspersion upon me. There are some things in sports that should remain sacred. Stop. Wait. Don't yell at your radio just yet, because you go, wait a minute, Rob, aren't you pro portal and NIL guy? It has ruined college football. Yes, I am. But I am also the guy that has said the things that make college football special aren't making sure college football players are obligated and forced to stay on a team and in a jersey that they don't want to wear. The things that make college football special aren't the fact that a handful of suits at the top make tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars every year, and the guys y'all actually tune in to watch play make, well, they get a free education, dollars every year. No. What makes college football special?
Why are you using that voice about education? I mean,
because
use your haughty voice.
That is not my haughty voice. I am very pro-education. Community college should be free in this country. You want to bring out Liberab the woke warrior? Here we go. Okay?
It's like socialism, but what do I know?
Yeah, so's the police department, but we're all good with that, right? Yes, thank you very much. I am all about investment in the future, for sure. But I also recognize when some people are getting shafted. Now, what makes college football special is not the things impacted by the portal or NIL. What makes college football special are the things that we truly love about it. It's Howard's Rock and running down the hill. What makes college football special is cocky coming out of the caboose. What makes college football special are marching bands and cheerleaders and all the things that we do in the game that, if you really think about it from the outside in, are kind of silly, but we love doing them. That's what makes it special, yeah? There are some things in sports that need to remain special. And to me, making the playoffs should be something that is special, that is to be celebrated. Yes, I understand that nobody's hanging a banner for made the playoffs, but doesn't it feel kind of nice when your team makes the playoffs? And wouldn't it feel nicer if we weren't just having the playoffs? Now, in fairness, my argument is kind of shut down by the fact that in these playoffs, you do have a couple of lower seeds that have pushed a couple of higher seeds to the brink, specifically the Minnesota Timberwolves, the 6th seed, and the Golden State Warriors, the 7th seed. But when we have an opening round of the playoffs where there are effectively 2 competitive series, does it not kind of feel like maybe too many teams are getting in? Does it not feel like we don't have the elite of the elite? Why were and we brought this up going in, why were the Miami Heat in the playoffs? Like in what world did it feel like the Miami Heat had any chance of doing anything in the playoffs? It didn't. Why I like the Orlando Magic in the direction that the franchise is going in, building around Paulo Banchero, bringing in young guys, moving on from guys who had been there for a couple of years and done nothing, and saying, yeah, they're talented players, but at the end of the day, the future's in the future, not in the present. I like where Orlando's going, but there's There's no world that the Orlando Magic were competitive in the East this year. The argument is kind of blown up in the West by the fact that the 6 and the 7 seed are both up 3-1 over the 2 seed and the 3 seed. But if we're keeping it a buck here, the 7 seed, Golden State, is up specifically because they got Jimmy Butler and they got healthy coming into these playoffs. Golden State had a, I think, wildly disappointing regular season. And they snuck in. They backdoored their way in with a late push from Jimmy Buckets. I mean, I guess that's the reason we keep the NBA playoffs as expanded as they are. But let's not forget that on top of that, we also had a play-in tournament that, as Lonzo pointed out, are effectively the playoffs. We have a play-in tournament that are the playoffs, which means there were 2 other teams that were involved in this. I kind of feel like the NBA needs to ramp the playoff prestige up by bringing the number of teams that get in down. Because with this many teams in, it creates a couple of worlds. It creates a world, well, first off, where the playoffs take forever. Again, I'm usually not a less sports is good guy. I am watch as many college football bowl games as I can get my eyes on guy. But here's the thing. Those college bowl games are not prestigious like the playoff games are. They're exhibition games, and they're treated as such by both the teams that are playing in them and, keeping it a buck, you guys as the average college football fan. Y'all aren't watching the Bahamas Bowl, okay? You're not watching the Popeyes Chicken Bowl. You're not watching the whatever bowl, the Poinciana Bowl. You're not watching any of that, or at least most of you aren't. You're not watching a Wednesday 11:30 in the morning live from Dublin bowl game. You don't care, right? This is the teams have a chance to win a championship game. If you are the type of person who says we are decreasing the importance of the regular season, you want to know how you make how the NBA, you want to know how you get them away from load management? You want to know how you get them away from superstars sitting out 6, 7, 12, 14 games a year to rest? Very simple. Make it tougher to make the playoffs. Make it to where there is more weight on the regular season. Do you think that Golden State would have had as many, it doesn't really feel like they're taking it all that seriously, games in the regular season, which decreases the reasons to watch those games and therefore the ratings themselves? Do you think they wait that long if they weren't sitting with 3 weeks left in the season and going, yeah, I mean, we're an above 500 team, not by a lot, but we're an above 500 team, so we don't really need to try that hard. We can rest Steph. We can rest Draymond. You want to get away from that? Make it to where a 44-win team has no idea if they're in the playoffs not whether or not we know where we are, we're going in. Now it's just a matter of where we're seated. Make Golden State as a 40-win basketball team, a 44-win basketball team. Make those last 2 weeks them playing for their lives. Because instead of 10 teams from a 15-team division going into the playoffs, which is what we have, 10 of 15 teams in the West are going in. Make it to where 8 go in maximum. I'm not talking play-in. I'm saying maximum 8 teams get in. Absolute maximum. Get rid of the play-in tournament, which I want to love. I love the regular season tournament. I want to love the play-in tournament. But realistically speaking, there's been in the history of the play-in tournament a couple of years along, There's been like 2 play-in teams that have done anything in the actual playoffs. Get rid of it. The top 8 teams maximum go in. And let's make it feel like some of these teams that seem content to go win 42 games at the end of the year feel like there's a little bit more pressure late in the season. Make it to where some of these teams that midway through the season at the 30-game mark, where they go on a stretch where they don't play their starters for 2 or 3 games and then fall off from there, make it to where those games have weight. You guys know, again, every time I talk baseball, I get 50 people who go, come on, Rob, it's game number 18 of 162. I understand. How many divisions in baseball have been won or lost by 1 game? A lot. Every year, there's 2 or 3 divisions that come down to a game. Guess what? A game in April matters. Maybe you throw away a game in April that you go, we don't want to get tired. It's only April. And then you lose your division by 1 game. Give me that feeling in the NBA. Because when 10 of 15 teams in both conferences get in, it doesn't really feel like the pressure is there in the regular season. And I'd like it to. But right now it doesn't. Texas said the NBA is not going to get back that money. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the reason none of this is going to happen. But like I said, I just feel like in sports, some things should remain sacred, and you're threatening taking away from the sanctimony of the regular season. That's not the right word, but it's the one my brain said. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Shut up. Nobody asked you.
Did you mean sanctity? Is that what you were going for?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
But I had just said sanctity, so I didn't want to say sanctity again. I wanted to say another word, but I didn't come up with another word, so I said the wrong word.
Michael Harris II put the Braves ahead in the 5th with a 2-run double. The series continues today. Atlanta has it announced the starter. Trayvon Marquez gets the start for the Rockies. In the latest D1Baseball.com top 25, Clemson slipped a spot this week to number 3. North Carolina jumped 4 spots to number 4. NC State leaped 12 spots to number 13 this week. Coastal Carolina 2 spots to number 19. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash of the Fan Upstate.
Up-to-the-minute upstate traffic. If you plan to drive 85 south from Spartanburg to Greenville this morning, you should either plan on a lot of extra time or take an alternate route. It's SLOW slow all the way.
SLOW slow.
And Highway 14 is falling through 5 Forks. Road work stacks more than load up between 185 and 85. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm Dillon Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
Here we have the Limo Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Lou, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company affiliates, excludes Massachusetts.
Celebrate Greenville's music scene every Thursday night at Piedmont Natural Gas Downtown Alive. Presented by Spectrum. Join us for a free admission outdoor street party featuring live music in Noma Square. Returning this year, Arts After Dark, happening every 3rd Thursday and showcasing local upstate artists in partnership with Metropolitan Arts Council. Piedmont Natural Gas Downtown Alive at Noma Square. Thursday evenings, March 13th through August 29th. Visit GVilleEvents.com for more info. That's GVilleEvents.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has found inside. It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour, and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold. This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the
While talking about traffic, Bill Brooks says it's SLOW slow.
Granger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
From the Ingles Market Studio.
Gamecocks, Panthers, Paladins, and Wings. Punch your ticket to the best local sports. 97.7 FM, 97.1 FM Spartanburg. Only streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey
The Rod Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, and you. 844-326-3663 is the number to be a part of the show. I want to play you a quick clip real quick and get your thoughts on it, especially you ladies out there being a member of the Armada. This audio is from Kiss 108, Boston's #1 hit music station. They do as many shows do, because it's easy free content. They do a segment where they offer marital advice and or suggestions when relationships maybe hit a bit of a snag. And I've come across a couple of these clips, and ordinarily, I'm like, you guys are making a mountain out of a molehill here. Rob Brown, the doctor of love, is here to help. But this one hit a spot. This one I was like, oh, that's a rough one. This is a young lady and her husband, or her, I think it's boyfriend. It's not even husband, it's boyfriend status. They hit a snag in their relationship a couple of weeks ago. It was Easter Sunday, and the young lady in the relationship had a plan for her family to get together, and they were going to meet the boy toy for the first time. Except for old boy toy had a situation that developed. What's the right way to handle this situation?
My boyfriend is ditching my family on Easter Sunday to go to a Celtics game. I don't understand like the logic.
Amber, I'm not ditching them. Amber, I'm not even trying to ditch them. I'm trying to work around it. I'm trying to make it so that it works for everybody. Like, I'm just trying to go. I recommended we maybe go out to brunch, or we can just do like a quick coffee or something like that. Like, I'm a huge Celtics fan. This is a huge game opportunity to go to.
So Jeff, real quick, did you commit to going to Easter Sunday before you had the tickets or after you had the tickets?
I mean, yeah, it was before I had the tickets. I mean, I just got the tickets today, and it's just like, I can't pass that up. You know what I mean? Like, and I figured, like, look, like this might be one of my only shots to actually see them in the playoffs. But like, I can always see your family like
that's a
the
good
next
point,
day or the next week. Or
But this is our first Easter Sunday together as a couple.
Have you met the parents yet or no?
Okay, so unfortunately the clip cut off there. The boyfriend went on to say that he has spoken to the family, but he has not met them in person yet. The young lady went on to say that the family has put plans together for their Easter dinner. The big portion of her argument that she leaned on for a minute there, the big portion that she leaned on in that spot was that mom put together a head count for food. They got food, enough food to feed new boyfriend. New boyfriend said, whoa. I got these tickets last minute. A buddy of mine pulled up and said, hey, I got playoff tickets, bud. Easter Sunday night, the Seas, the reigning, defending, undisputed world champions. He went on to say that he has been a lifelong Boston Celtics fan and has never gotten to go to a playoff game. Buddy pulls up, says, I got some ticks. They're free. Let's make this happen. He said, I offered to the family to do like midday brunch, maybe a little Easter Sunday breakfast brunch kind of deal. I'll take care of everything. I just wanted to go to the game. And she's saying, absolutely not. It's first chance to meet my family in person, and you committed to this. Let's go. Homeboy says, yeah, I committed to it, but that was before I knew I had playoff tickets to go see the reigning defending in person. I got to go to this game. Amber. And Amber said, no. You got to come to Easter Sunday dinner. Can I keep it a buck here? 90% of the time.
So you're not going to go bros before
basketball?
Yeah.
90% of the time in a situation like this, I'm like, dude, suck it up. Right? If you like this gal, suck it up. If you like this chick, suck it up. If you love this lady, suck it up. It's a game. But I'm kind of Team Jeff on this one. I'm kind of Team Jeff. This is a playoff ticket. This isn't like it's February, middle of the season. You're playing Charlotte, right? You're playing Atlanta. This isn't a throwaway middle of the regular season game. This is a free playoff ticket to go see the reigning defending, who, by the way, are the betting favorites to win the NBA title, to say, I got to see the back-to-back NBA champions play a home playoff game at the Garden. I got to tell you, and he offered up an alternative. Yeah, he committed to dinner, but he offered up an alternative. I will take the whole fam out to brunch, but I got to go see this game. And on top of that, and here's the kicker, they're not married. This isn't a marriage. This isn't a like, oh, it's our first Easter together as a married couple. This is dating couple. And while, again, normally I find myself going, dude, suck it up here, I am going to say, and Amber's not going to want to hear this, he's been committed to the Boston Celtics longer than he's been committed to you.
Okay, so I don't know about all that. I do know that relationships are a matter of understanding in both ways. And if she cared about him as much as she might be pretending to care about him, she would understand how important this is. There'll be many more opportunities for him to meet her family. But in this case, I mean, tickets for something like this don't come along very often.
Nope.
They don't.
And my man straight up said, never been to a playoff game. Been a Boston fan my whole life. Never been to a playoff game. This is a spot. This is a spot where I feel like sometimes, not always, but sometimes sports people and non-sports people can work out. Okay? My wife loves college football. She loves women's college basketball. Of course she does. She's a South Carolina Gamecock fan. Of course she loves some women's college basketball. But she has adopted the Saints. But she really likes sports. She does not love sports. She does not have this love of the game that I do. I have dated women before who had zero love of sports. None. Did not care about it, didn't like it, didn't understand it, had no interest in learning to. And that was problematic for yours truly, because the love of the game is never going to turn off. I have had one relationship where I have pointed out in the to a young lady that, you know, I like you a lot. I could see us being a thing long term, but you have to understand, I have been a fan of this sport, game, team, whatever, longer than I've been a fan of you. I have invested more in my professional football team than unless we get married and stay married for a very long time. I have invested more in my football team than I will be investing in you. So, again, if this is like game number 42 of 82, if this is the midway point of the regular season, then 100% I'm like, Jeff, relax, buddy. It's a regular season game. You've got opportunity, like getting tickets to go see the Celtics. It's not easy, but it's not tough either. In this spot, Lonzo, I think I'm Team Jeff. I'm sorry, Amber. You seem like a perfectly nice lady. It is obvious that family matters a lot to you, which for me as a guy is it's very important. It is an important, not a deal breaker, but it is important to me that my lady and her family have a good relationship. Selfishly, because my family and I have a good relationship. And if you and your family don't have a good relationship, it is possible, probable, that at some point I'm going to go, hey, this thing is important to me because my family is important to me, and it's important to them, therefore it's important to me. And you might go, it's just a family event, dog. Like, relax a little bit. And that's going to be a problem for me. But in this spot, I am going to say, Amber, you may not understand it. This dude is committed. Jeff is committed to the Celtics in a way that he is not committed to you, because y'all are dating, man. Like, you're in the game. Even if it is far enough along to meet the family, my man has put years into this basketball team. He has put, what, weeks into you? Maybe months. Maybe he's put months into you. Realistically, he's put weeks into you at this point. And if that is the case, I think Amber's got to chill. I think Amber's got to understand this is, I'm not going to say once in a lifetime, but so far it's once in Jeff's lifetime. Initially, I was going to say, how old are y'all, right? Like, how old are you? If you're like 24, then maybe I'm a little more understanding of Amber. But realistically, I'm not. If this cat is truly a lifelong Boston fan, Amber's got to recognize he's committed to this basketball team. If she doesn't, and this is what I'd say to Jeff, if she does not understand that you are lifelong committed to this basketball team, that's going to say to me, this is going to be an ongoing problem in y'all's relationship. Because there's going to be a Tuesday night where it's date night and she wants to go down to the coffee shop to watch her favorite poet read choices selections out of her book. And you're going to go, yeah, babe, we're playing the Knicks tonight, though. We're playing the Knicks, and it's like kind of a big deal, right? This could determine who gets the 1 seed in the East. My wife may not be on board when I go, yeah, babe, I can't go out tonight because the Braves are playing the Mets. But if I tell her, and that's a divisional game, and it could be for she'll go, all right, I understand it, right? She may not be on board with it. She may not love it. But she'll understand. And I got to tell you, I think the important part, for those of you that don't find a unicorn, that is to say, a lady who loves sports, not your team, sports. My wife, again, she doesn't love the Saints like I love the Saints, but she gets it. And she likes the Saints. So when she'll ask me during football season every week, she's like, when did the Saints play this week? And if I say they got the Thursday night game, well, we're not doing Winehouse Thursday that night then, right? What the trade-off is that I'm not going to say, oh, it's Patriots Chargers on Thursday. So can we skip Winehouse night? I'm going to go, who cares about Patriots Chargers? It's my wife. We're going Winehouse night on Thursday. I'll catch up on what I miss. But if the Saints have the Thursday night Amazon game, she'll cancel Winehouse Thursday. That's all you're looking for. The understanding that if you go, yeah, I know you're not the biggest Braves fan in the world, but we got the Phillies on Thursday, so no Winehouse night for her to go, okay, if you say this one's important, now that takes sacrifice on the fellas' half. You can't say that every game is as important as every other game. Because if you try to sell her that Braves game 2 against the Rockies tonight is as important as Sunday night when the Dodgers come to town, then Sunday when the Dodgers come to town, the weight isn't going to be there. But I think Amber has to have some understanding
Where
of Jeff.
Where is the prospective father-in-law in all this? I mean, I'm sure Dad could step in and go, "Hey, he's got tickets. If I were him, I'd go too."
That's fair, and it does sound like Amber has the whole family together, right? But that's fair. I would probably, and I would think at this point, like he would know, right? Like you got to know something. If you're deep enough in that you're meeting the family for Easter Sunday, by that point, you got to know some stuff about the dad. If you know Dad's a big Celtics fan, I'd be like, ask your dad. Your dad will tell you how much this matters. Your dad will be like, yeah, Amber, you kind of got to let him go. Like we're not going to be mad. We understand. If Dad's not a basketball fan, not a Celtics fan at this point, then you got to know Amber's you're going to know Amber's background. You're not winning Amber over because Dad's not over. And if Dad's not over, Amber's not coming over. But if Dad's a big C's fan, Lonzo's got a point. You probably got Dad on your side at that point. So, all right, that's my thought. Bo made a joke never mind. Bo, I get you, dog. He made an inappropriate joke, and I really like it, Bo, but I can't read it. But I like it.
Wow, but you thought about doing it.
I really did. Well, it's a thinly veiled euphemism. I said, old Jeff, have you put weeks into Amber? Have you put months into Amber?
Okay, you can stop.
There it is. You get it. So did Jeff. Back after this, Lonzo Sports Flash.
Restraint sometimes is difficult. 2 NBA games last night. I did. The Cavaliers finished a sweep of the Miami Heat with a 138-83 beat down. Cleveland was led by Donovan Mitchell's 22 and DeAndre Hunter's 19 off the bench. The Golden State Warriors now lead the Houston Rockets 3-1 after a 109-106 win. Jimmy Butler scored 27 in his return from injury. 2 Stanley Cup playoff games last night. The Panthers knocked off the Lightning 4-2 to earn a 3-1 lead over Tampa. And the Stars led the Avalanche 3-2 after a 6-2 blitz of Colorado. The Atlanta Braves started a 3-game set against the Rockies with a 6-3 win last night. Bryce Elder secured the win with a 6-inning, 5-hit, 3-run night with 4 Ks, while the Braves tagged Colorado starter Ryan Feltner for 10 of their 14 hits. Make sure you tune in to hour number 4 of the Rob Brown Show. This is coming up next right here on Fan Upstate.
Simpsonville and Highway 14 is stalling from Five Forks. Road work stacks Malden Road up between 185 and 85. From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Traffic Center, I'm Bill Brooks on the Fan Upstate.
For over 8 years, QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in non-surgical relief for joint pain with over 50,000 satisfied patients. People with knee and back pain now living pain-free. Shoulder and hip pain, gone. Hey, it's Charlie James. What they're doing is nothing short of remarkable. They're using regenerative cell therapy to restore the tissue in your achy joints. They're using biologic growth factors with robust healing properties, carefully and strategically placed in your joint. It's a powerful and potent way to give your joints new life, restoring old tissue. Best part, with QC Kinetics, there's no drugs, no surgery is involved, and there's no downtime. This is an all-natural, cellular level option with lasting relief. The patient satisfaction reports are astounding. Imagine doing all the things you enjoyed this summer without being slowed down by that awful joint pain in your knees or your back. Call QC Kinetics now and learn about these cutting-edge treatments that can help you live your best life. Call 864-448-3772. In Greenville and in Asheville, 864-448-3772. That's 864 448-3772.
Attention taxpayers. If you or your business owe the IRS back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, the IRS has greenlighted billions of dollars in tax relief to those facing financial hardship through its tax relief initiatives. If you have a delinquent tax problem and possibly facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, audits, or already in a payment plan, you may now qualify for significant relief. Qualifying and enrolling in this program could stop all collections, settle your tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by up to 99%. Call the hotline at Tax Pro USA to see if you qualify by dialing 800-797-5055. If you or your business owe at least $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS or state, you can now get the help that you need during these hard economic times. Call Tax Pro USA to get your free tax assessment to see what you qualify for by dialing 800-797-5055. 800-797-5055. That's 800-797-5055.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
Well, you could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
got bagel.
Match. Discover cashback match.
That's more than one.
Got 2 bagels. I can tell blood sugar is low because like I am just weak right now.
You may get someone to come in and smack you.
They're doing an us segment. I mean, obviously we're going former player, right?
Just the insiders? I mean, or
what counts as insider?
Yeah, or is it all the hosts?
Yeah. Can I pick Jeff Saturday?
Or Marcus?
Yeah.
I'm going Marcus.
Ryan Clark with speed?
Eh.
Rey Mysterio run a row.
Yeah, Ryan Clark would be scared to be in it.
ESPN just did the most The Rob Brown Show segment that I've ever seen them do. They just asked if there was a ESPN Insiders Battle Royale, who would win? Like it was the definition of the once a month or so that Lonzo and I asked the question, if everybody on every station in this building got into a scrap, who's walking out victorious? ESPN just did that with which insider would win a battle royale between all of them. And Zoe and I then immediately went into the breakdown of like, okay, define insider. Are we talking about like just the nerds with pens? Can we include the athletes in this? Because if we can include the athletes, I think you got to look at Carlos Boozer as a genuine threat. He's a big old SOB. I think you ought to. Jeff Saturday was nasty when he was playing center. Ryan Clark would be the Rey Mysterio of the group. Just quick, fast, in, out, wang, bang, move on. Like,
yeah, but
define insider here.
Well, first of all, do they understand what a battle royale is? And you know, this is over the top, right? Or are we just talking about?
Yeah, I think they were just going like a brawl, just a brawl, just everybody in the parking lot, last man standing. And let's do it that way. It's more fun that way.
Okay.
Last man standing style.
Is, but
who you taking?
What do I know?
Well, there's a difference between a battle royal, which is what WWE, and a battle royale.
Yeah,
that's French.
That's true.
Yeah, we're going battle royale in the parking lot. Last man standing. Who do you have from the network? Who's a dog? Who's an upset pick? Who's a shock? Who could be? Who could make it deep into this thing that nobody sees coming? They're like. I got to imagine, maybe Greenberg reaches into that Jets anger, taps into that,
I'm going Marcus Spears, or who's the big former offensive lineman that's on Get Up all the time?
It's Jeff Saturday, right?
No, I'm talking about black dude, big dude. During COVID, whenever they showed him, he was at his house, and it was like there's a big time piano behind him and everything. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name.
Now I am too. You've rubbed off on me.
Sure,
is it Marcellus?
It might. No,
I don't know. I'm going with. Man, who am I going with here? I think Boozer's a shock pick. He's got the size. And I don't think, because like initially my brain went Perk.
Damian Woody.
Okay. Woody's a good pick. I don't think Woody's kept up with himself post-career.
But see, the thing is, he's a big dude. I mean, and there are a lot of small people at ESPN. The non-athletes.
Yeah, I think we're none of us are taking the nerds, right? None of us are taking Todd McShay in this one. Now, I think Todd McShay could come in here and kick my ass, but like he works on the big net. They got some ex-athletes in there. I think it's got to be an ex-athlete. I think I'm gonna go. I mean, Boozer's up there in age. Like I think he's stature-wise, he's probably the favorite. Jeff Saturday's got himself in great shape after his career. I keep wanting to come back to Jeff Saturday. I think it might be Jeff Saturday. He's got that dog O-lineman in him.
Yeah, but after his failure at Indy, I think it took something out of him, and I don't know if I trust him in a fight.
Jeff Saturday was.
I think he would, in the fight, would get in over his head. And yeah, I know he's been in shouting matches, but who is he yelling at? Brady or somebody? I mean,
Peyton Manning.
It was one of those guys.
Him and Pepe were after it for a hot minute there.
I mean, he's an offensive lineman. Who remembers who they play for?
Wow.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, no, I know. Glucose Goblin on X says, I think K Perk has a good shot. See, I don't know. Perk's like first off,
he did want to fight back in the day when he was playing.
Yes, he did.
I mean, I'm
going to say this. Kendrick Perkins, respectfully, I feel like K-Perk just says stuff. Like, I'm not a big Kendrick Perkins guy.
Yeah, because he's like, who's going to do something?
Yeah, I think he just says stuff sometimes. Texter said Shefty if he has a knife. Yeah, well, he doesn't.
We'd have to wait for permission from the NFL before he could do anything. So,
what NFL what ESPN insider, all sports include? You know what I'm not thinking? What about They got a couple of former UFC fighters that are insiders on that net now.
Chael Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen's in there. He scares me as a person. Yeah. Chael would be a great pick. I don't think any of them considered.
Cormier is on there too. I'd be worried about Cormier.
I think that's where we got to go, right?
See, in this building, Fat Boy wins hands down. There's just there's nobody. There's nobody. I mean, you may think. I mean, have you seen the size of his fists?
Yeah, here's the problem, and this is going to get me in trouble with Fat Boy, but I love Fat Boy. He's my gambling buddy. Here's the thing about the big fellas. There's just auto assumption that big equals can fight, and it's not true. I have watched plenty of big dude get their ass whipped because they go through life without anybody ever actually challenging them. I'm one of them, for the record.
And feel free to tell them that we're saying this. I know what you're saying, that some big guys are softy. That dude is not soft.
I didn't say soft.
Okay.
I said can't throw hands.
Yeah.
Having a big fist does not mean you know how to use it.
Also, in this building, the one guy who you think has been in multiple bar brawls would be him.
See, but okay. I'm going to make it about me again. I'm good at that.
Wow.
One of the things that has helped me get through life with this 40-year never been punched in the face streak
so far
is the fact that I've gotten very good at de-escalating conflict. And if that fails, I just stack up 6'3", 230, and most people automatically go, yeah, I'm not throwing with that guy. I don't know how to fight. I mean, I know how to box, but that's not bar fighting, right? Like, if I get into a bar fight, the head works for me is I have like 5 to 6 solid seconds of utilizing boxing background to put this guy down. Because if I don't get him down before he's hands on me, I'm bleeped. I've never done anything that would tell me how to get out of hands, like out of a hold, right? So I got like jab, jab, hook to get that guy down, jab, jab, cut to get that guy down. And if he gets in and gets hands on me, I'm screwed. I'm losing that fight. But what I found is people see big and think, oh, I'm not throwing hands with that guy. The reality is, you want to know who you should be the most scared of? The small, quiet dude in the corner.
All right. I don't know who your number one is. He's my number one. Tim Snow's my number two. So, I mean.
Tim Snow?
Yes.
I love T2.
Yes.
No.
You don't know the depth of anger that is in that guy who would just, no, we're talking about bar fight. This is a guy who's like, boom, he's probably going to punch you before he even thinks about it. And I'm just saying, first punch guy usually wins if they connect.
I don't know about that. I'd like to think I'm not getting slept on.
Well, you know,
punch,
Rob,
but it's never happened.
I have been in fights before, whereas you have not, which makes me an expert, and you have to sit out.
Okay, checks out. All
Just
right.
because you spent time with Roy Jones Jr. doesn't mean that you know about the fight game.
Again, like I think if it was a bar brawl, there's this weird part of me. We were talking about the 100 dudes versus a silverback, not regular gorilla, silverback earlier. And we were having the conversation, and I said there's way too many dudes that have way too high of an estimation of themselves, right? There is a weird part of me that has always wanted to be involved in like a legitimate bar brawl. Like a straight up, every dude in that bar getting after it, a legitimate bar brawl. Just to be one time involved in the sheer chaos. And I'd like to think that if I ended up squared up with a dude, I've got enough years of the boxing background, even at my advanced age, that like I could keep space, land a couple of shots, and end it before it really got started. I'd like to think that.
I also have a sleeper, our boss. Have you ever seen him smile? There's something in there, man. And if he gets in that situation, I want to be on his side, not against him. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not kissing ass. That's a good pick. That's a good pick. He's intense, dude.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like, even when he's not trying to be intense, he's intense. Like, he strikes me as that quiet storm type.
Yeah, you know, like that character in the movie who's like stoic the entire movie, and then they show emotion and it scares you half to death. That's it. So I want to be on his side. But I mean, we could take a poll around the building or from listeners who listen to all the different stations. Fat Boy's your guy. I think you're completely wrong about it.
I'm not saying he can't go. I'm saying just default handing him the victory before we even have the conversation ain't it.
All right. You haven't named anybody. You named yourself.
We're going hands only.
You named yourself, but you haven't named anybody. Bar brawls are not hands only. If we're just doing ESPN battle royale.
We're going battle royale, hands only.
Okay. Hands only. All right.
No weapons, just hands only.
Fat Boy's hands are the size of your head.
Again.
Okay. All right.
Like, if I get behind a dump truck, I can do some damage. Turns out I don't know how to drive it, so I can't do anything with it. Right? Like, you got to know how to work the thing. Buckeye Mike says, what about the hockey guys? Oh, PK Subban's a good pick. PK spent his whole career throwing hands. PK's a tough SOB. You get guys like
some of those older guys that they have in there too, probably.
Got like Chris Chelios showing up, just being a creep in the back, throwing hands.
Who's the bald guy? I should know his name.
Mark Messier.
Yeah, Messier. I know he's older, but still, I mean, he's experienced and knows where to punch.
That's what I'm saying. See, I think Subban's only a couple of years removed from playing. Like, he could still skate if he needed to. I feel like the hockey guys are an underappreciated asset here. I think the hockey guys probably make a little noise in this thing. I'm going to go with, it's going to be for ESPN. It's either going to be the winner of Sonnen Cormier from the UFC guys. It's going to be Subban from the hockey world. It's going to be, I think I'm going to land on, Teddy Bruschi is still there.
See, but what if it's just the desk nerds, the average man, if you will? What if it's just the average man at ESPN?
But how much does he weigh?
Well, I mean, we can all see, as you told us, to be on TV, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Yeah. So
unless you were a player, if you were a player, you can get away with it. If you weren't a player, not a lot. If we are keeping it to the desk nerds, the journo guys turn talking heads, I'm going to say, that's a tough one.
I would go Wilbon back in the day.
Wilbon back in the day was probably a dog.
Probably too old right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's him anymore. I'm running through. I mean, McAfee's the obvious answer, but he's a former player, so we don't count. McAfee might be a good pick in just the regular, everybody included, Roy. I didn't think about that. Is he an insider? Oh, I guess technically he is.
Kind of. But he's also an athlete. You're right.
Yeah, so he's out.
Just talking about those guys who went to journalism school and they're there.
Yeah, the me's of ESPN. I'm going to say, that's a tough one. I'm going to say of the desk jockeys.
Tony Reali still work there? Is that still, I mean.
Yeah, but they're almost done. They're still doing PTI, but I think that ends in the next couple of weeks. And I think he's still doing PTI.
That's around the horn. Yeah.
I mean, around the horn.
Yeah. Reali seems like he's in shape, and probably got.
Yeah, and he's big in the boxing world too. No, Kellerman was big in the boxing world, but Reali was big in. He came over from something. Buckeye Mike says, how about Marty Smith? Ooh, Marty got that country strong in him. If Marty's got that country strong.
What about his partner?
Marty and Ryan tag team each other. They do what I've never understood while tag teams in the Battle Royal don't do, which is team up with each other until you're the last two. Marty and McGee, you know what, Buckeye Mike? That might be the pick for the nerds. Marty and McGee go country strong tag team, eliminate every other nerd at ESPN, and then they go at each other, in which case I'm going to say Marty beats McGee. I think Marty Smith might be the answer. That's a great pick. I think Marty Smith is the answer if we're going journo nerds only. He's country strong. He's got a buddy to get down to the final two, and he's clearly beating McGee. I think Marty Smith is the answer. That's a good call. All right. That was dumb, and I loved every second of it. Let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, talk about tonight's NBA games. Carolina Hurricanes looking to eliminate the Jersey Devils. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more as we roll on with the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
While Mel is psycho, James, McShay would whoop his butt.
Oh, yeah.
McShay's got his own intensity.
I don't think you end in the role where they are without some fights. Not necessarily fist, in general. Be right back, guys.
Honey walnut spread? Is that a okay spread? It's like butter.
Yeah, but it's a spread. It's not butter. It's a spread.
It's like okay,
like a cream. I went with the whatever kind of bread this is.
Did you apply that yourself?
Yeah.
Or was okay. All right.
I went with the whatever kind of bread this is bagel. It's like a pumpernickel or something. And then the honey walnut bread spread, which was delightful, except for A, it's chewy AF. And B, I grabbed the water out of the fridge, and I can now confirm that honey walnut and orange mango don't mix.
What does go with orange mango food-wise? I mean...
anything tropical fish. Good redfish pontchartrain would go great with that. I'd make a hell of a cocktail with that. Maybe a little rum drink, pair it with some fish. Oh, it'd be phenomenal.
No one's surprised.
Why would you be? It's delicious. Okay. So we got some NBA games, some NHL games coming up tonight. Let's take a look at the schedule of this evening's contest. The Pacers have the Bucks against elimination. The Knicks have the Pistons against elimination. And the Celtics have the Magic against elimination. All three of those games are threatened to be gentlemen's sweeps this evening.
When do the Lakers play again? Do they play every 4 days?
I mean, what's it matter that the playoffs take forever, right?
No, I'm just curious.
They play Wednesday.
Okay, all right.
The opening series, if it goes a full 7 games, will take 2 weeks. 2 weeks for a 7 games. 2 weeks for a 7-game series. It's a very long 7-game series. Anyway, three of the 4 games tonight, because there is one more game, and that's Clippers Nuggets tonight. That game is at 10 p.m. Indiana has an opportunity to eliminate Milwaukee. They are 8.5-point favorites. The Knicks have an opportunity to put away the Pistons, 5.5-point favorites. The Celtics have a chance to put away the Magic, 11.5-point favorites. The Clippers Denver spread. Clippers at the Nuggets are 1.5-point favorites. I got to tell you, I'm a basketball fan. I want basketball to, I want to make basketball great again. I'm all in on the NBA. Never left. I got no reason to watch any of these games until 10 o'clock. I really wish it was flipped. I really wish Clippers Nuggets was at, 6 o'clock instead of the other way around. The end of the last Clippers Nuggets game with Aaron Gordon flushing a Jokic air ball, which, by the way, those two idiots in their post-game press conference, I say idiots with all the respect and love in the world because they had me rolling. They asked Jokic if he thought he had that shot that he put up with a second and a half left to go. They're like, did you think that was going in? And Gordon just grabbed the mic and goes, it was a great pass. I mean, it wasn't. It was a shot, but it was a great pass. I thought it was hilarious. I'm, on one hand, rooting for Denver, and on the other hand, terrified for Denver fans that Jokic is going to ask out this offseason. We'll find out. But that's the only game tonight I'm really intrigued by. I want to be excited. I got back-to-back NBA games, playoff games. The first 3 could all see an elimination and an advance to round 2 for some exciting teams. I'm interested to see what the Knicks can do, provided Jalen Brunson is close to 100%. I picked Boston to win the East. They've got a chance to finish off a growing, a maturing Orlando Magic team tonight. Boston in elimination games the last couple of years have been exceptional. I'm excited to see Boston. Just not tonight. There's one game tonight that's any good. I'm going chalk tonight. I'm going all 4 favorites. I'm going with the Pacers to finish their series, the Knicks to finish their series, the C's to finish their series, and I'm going to go with the Nuggets to fall to the Clippers at home. Can we talk real quick about the LA Clippers? Because Kawhi Leonard is back. James Harden, in that last game, James Harden looked like he was ready to start throwing hands. He looked like he was ready to start giving out whoopings if anybody requested one. And in a weird way, I kind of enjoyed it, right? Like I've been on the James Harden hate wagon for a while now because James Harden has always kind of been a dude that I'm like, your game is so much better than you let it be. Your game is so much better than you let it be. I do not know why it is.
It's that guy in every building who, if they applied themselves, could take something to another level and never do.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's having a Hall of Fame career, and you're still like, why do you have to play that way? I mean, it works. It's good. Get to the rack, get fouled, draw 96 fouls a game. Sure, it works. But James Harden is a guy I'd love to see get the young cats on this Clippers team more involved. Like, I'd love to see him get them more involved. I don't know. He did finish the last game with 11 assists. And I think this is aged James Harden on the Clippers. I don't think I can have James Harden go into the rack, 22 times a game like he used to. He only had 11 field goals in this last game. So it is and I guess maybe that's kind of the thing here is I feel like James Harden, I feel like the beard is now playing the game that I really wish he would have played when he was a younger player. Like, it feels like now he's playing the game that I would have loved to have seen James Harden play his whole career. Get other guys involved. Don't feel like you have to go to the rack every time you touch the ball, even if you are drawing fouls. He had, I think, 11 assists, 6 free throws, 5-6 free throws in the last game, and he only had like 10 or 11 field goal attempts. Playing the game I wanted him to play, and it's brought Kawhi Leonard back to life, man. Kawhi Leonard had 20-some-odd field goals in the last game, and a large percentage of those field goals came from Harden goes to the free throw line. Harden dives into the paint. He draws pressure from somewhere, kicks the outlet pass. And Kawhi was the recipient of that. He had 24 in the last game. What do you have, 30-something in the game before that? James Harden is playing the game that I truly believe. Had James Harden been playing the game back in the day the way that he plays the game now, I'm talking not the effort, not change his effort level, not change his drive level. I'm talking about the actual style of basketball. I feel like had James Harden played the way in the past that James Harden plays the game now, what would that original OKC Thunder with him, Westbrook, and Durant look like if James Harden played this kind of basketball back then? They might have had 5 championships, honestly. But James Harden playing the way Harden spent so many years playing did not mesh with Westbrook and his I have to have a triple-double. When those two guys were playing that way, it did not mesh with Kevin Durant, and you ended up blowing. Was that Thunder team, was that starting 5 for that the OG OKC? So I could be mistaken, but I think they had probably one of the best big threes of any of the big threes with Westbrook, Durant, and Harden. That big three should have won multiple trophies, and they didn't. And I think it was because Harden's game and Westbrook's game overlapped so much that they could not coexist. And when those two dudes were battling to coexist, Kevin Durant was allowed to just kind of like fade off into the background until he was ready to go.
Harden's the only one who didn't win the championship, right?
I believe that is correct.
Because Westbrook was with the Lakers, wasn't he?
Yes, I believe that is correct.
I think.
I think that this James Harden that we are getting right now, if I could dump this James Harden back into that OKC team, I think they might have been the best big three in the history of big threes. So I don't know, man. I've enjoyed this Clippers team, which if you'd have told me coming to these playoffs, because I watched a handful of Clippers games in the regular season when we got late into the season and it became obvious that they were going to be one of the 80% of NBA teams that make it to the playoffs. 80% make it to the playoffs. I really did think that the Clippers would be like, all right, they're going to be interesting. But this Clippers team might be the most fun team to watch in the playoffs. Okay, let me rephrase that. Not best, most interesting. Because I'm getting the James Harden that what I would have loved to have seen back in the Thunder days. That James Harden has resurrected Kawhi Leonard, who, after a handful of years ago, I think most, if not all of us, were like ready to write off Kawhi. Like what Kawhi was going to go into the what could have been category.
All right, so I was wrong about Russell Westbrook.
He did not. No, he joined the Lakers the year after COVID.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing that in my brain. I'm like, I know he was there, but I think he was with the.
No, he played with LeBron. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, he was with the Lakers, but not when they won a chip. I think he got there the year after, because I think he was in Washington. I think he was not in. He was in Orlando, but I think he was with the Wiz in the COVID year, and then he joined the Lakers the year after that.
Speaking of Kevin Durant, if Jimmy Butler ends up winning a championship with Golden State, is that the same thing?
As
I mean, all the criticisms that Kevin Durant has got, where he went to a team that had won championships and then won one there. Is it different because they haven't won a championship in a while, and if Butler helps them win, he actually, I mean, they couldn't win without him? I mean, will he get that kind of criticism that Kevin Durant has gotten?
That's a fair question.
Ever since he went there.
That's a fair question. I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say no because people like Jimmy Butler. How much of the criticism for Kevin Durant is just because Kevin Durant's always kind of been a little bit petulant?
You know what? I kind of liked him early on when he was on
Durant.
When he was on commercials and stuff. I didn't know a lot about him, and then the burner phone thing happened, and you start hearing about other stuff, and it's like, okay, this was before he went to Golden State.
Sure. I like I like Jimmy Butler a lot. I like Jimmy Butler as a player. I think I like him as a dude. I think he's entertaining. He won me over when he showed up as the lead singer of Fall Out Boy for their media photos every year. Like, I like Jimmy Butler a lot. I think he's a hell of a player too. Lester said there's a difference. Jimmy got traded. Yeah, Jimmy got traded because Jimmy demanded to be traded, right? Like, Jimmy wanted out of Miami. Kevin just leaves a team. He says, "No, I'm done here," and he signs short contracts to move on. And for the record, I don't fault Kevin Durant. He's allowed to ring chase just like anybody else. Like, anybody else could do that. I don't really fault Kevin Durant for that. I faulted Kevin Durant for like having burner tweet accounts, stuff like that. Like that's where it starts getting silly. Okay. Some NBA thoughts when we come back here in just a minute. Got a few more things that I want to get to before we get up out of here for the day. Got a couple of interesting stories from the news. Got some NHL thoughts as we get set for Carolina trying to eliminate the Jersey Devils up in Raleigh tonight. They're minus 270 on the money line, so they should. We'll talk about that and more as we wrap up the Rob Brown Show next on the Fan Upstate.
Yeah, I just sent you something on Twitter. Julia got taken to Waffle House? Yeah, but what's that stuff on is that meat? What is that on I don't know what that is. The darker color stuff?
I think it's I think she's eating a melt, like a shaved steak, like a Philly cheese melt.
Well, or it's mushrooms. Maybe it's mushrooms because she's definitely eating hash browns. If you look underneath, you can see the hash browns takes up most of the plate. I don't think I've ever had mushrooms there, so I'm not sure I would want them. Depending on what Waffle House you're at, the mushrooms might be different. Someone just put up enough of the games, 100 gorillas versus Darth Vader. You do know Vader got beat. I know he's old, but he did get beat. Or he allowed himself to be beat. Yeah, well, I mean, we don't know. We're not in his head. New Miami Vice movie is in the works. Why?
Why?
No, but I mean, I love Miami Vice back in the day, but who now in this generation remembers Miami Vice enough to go see it? Are they just counting on older people going to see it? Hey, look, Don Johnson's doing a cameo in it. Oh, okay. Did you know there was no Balrog scene in the Lord of the Rings script while filming? He just showed up and Sir Ian McKellen improvised the entire face-off. Like, okay.
No, but there's a clip, James, of the Devils of Eli Manning bringing his daughter to the Devils.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's hilarious.
And then he does the...
My favorite part of the beginning is when he's telling the daughter, he's like, the hockey guys during the playoffs, they don't shave, they grow their beard off. It's called a playoff beard. She goes, I know, Dad. And I was like, oh, so even Eli catches crap. And then he looks at the other daughter and he's like, I'm growing out my playoff beard. How's it look? And she goes, horrible. And I was like, golly, Eli can't catch a break.
Doesn't look as bad as Ciampa without his beard. That's so weird.
Wonderful.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It's the Fan Upstate. Rob Lonzo and you ramping up the day. 844-326-3663. That is the Hub City Spartanburger text line. 844-326-3663. You can shoot us a text. We'll read them on the air. You can call and get on the air. If you'd like to go in that direction, you're welcome to do so as well. A couple of texts and tweets that have come in so far. Wrestling says awesome. Wrestling is awesome. Says the crying for Shador is getting beyond ridiculous. He's not entitled to be picked by any team. No team has to pick anyone. Look, the whole conversation about this stems from the fact that everybody believes that they know the reason why he was not picked. You got a bunch of people who think it was I talked about this yesterday, which is why I didn't really bring it back up today. To be honest, I'm kind of over it, I think. And that's not usually me. I love milking content, but I'm kind of over it.
Now we're to the point where he just needs to prove himself. I mean, if he is as good as
Dion says he is, just finish it.
Some people think he is.
Yep.
Then he'll work his way up through that. Although I did see he was given I forget what it was called. The CFL has laid claim to him if he decides to go that route.
What if he did? What if he was like, you know what? Bleep you, NFL.
I'm going to Canada.
I'm going to Toronto. Going to Winnipeg. Going to play for the Rough Riders. Set them down. Open up shop. That'd be hilarious. I think everybody who is crying, your words, not mine, for Shador is doing so because they believe they know why Shador didn't get picked. And this is one of those conversations where we don't know the truth. We can't know the truth. This is what I said yesterday on the show. The people that are claiming that there is some element of racism to this, I'm not saying they're 1,000% wrong. There absolutely may be a team where an owner or a general manager decided to pass on Shador because they did not want a cocky, arrogant young black man at quarterback. However, there's also a lot of teams that probably passed on Shador because they didn't want a cocky, arrogant young quarterback on the team. Forget what color or his last name. They just didn't want that guy. We played the clip yesterday. It was Louis Riddick and Mel Kiper Jr. And I'm not going to get back into that whole thing, but I thought there was an interesting clip when Mel Kiper Jr. was like, "Oh, it's not about playing quarterback anymore. It's personal." And Riddick said, "Here's the thing: it's not about whether or not you can play quarterback. It's about whether or not we want to let you play quarterback for us." And I think that's really what it came down to, was all of the stories about bad interviews, about an entitled mentality, about and again, I go back to a couple of clips that circled around in the lead up to the draft. One of them was of Shador when he was talking about, getting drafted. And he's like, if you want to change your franchise, if you want to change your culture, if you want to change your destiny, if you want to go win, no, pick me. And that's kind of one of those things that if you say it and you back it up, if you say it and you've got a bunch of success of doing that, then it's like, oh, that guy's confident. But if you say it and you got nothing to back that up, then it comes across as cocky and arrogant. Of
course he had help. Didn't he kind of change 2 franchises?
Did he? No. Did Dion? Absolutely.
Would he have been able to do it without him?
Without Dion?
Would Dion have been able to do what he's done without? We're going to find out coming up this year.
Dion got Travis Hunter. That ain't his boy. That ain't his son. So yes, I think so. We are going to find out in a year. But again, it is easy for you and me to say we're going to find out in a year. And almost hell, I'm pretty excited to watch it. It is one thing to say from your and I position behind this microphone in these chairs, we'll find out in a year. It's another thing for a general manager to have to wager a 2nd or 3rd or 4th round draft pick on, we will find out in a year. It is another thing to have to wager a 1st or 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 5th round draft pick to find out in a year, and then find yourself in a spot where if you get it wrong, you get fired, right? Like that, a little different at that point. It's easy to tell people what to do when they're sitting at the table and it's their chips that are being wagered, not yours. And that was kind of the spot. So we will find out in a year. And like I said, I'm kind of over the story at large, but I also know it's been 4 days and he's still trending on every social media platform right now. Like, it's been 4 days and people are still talking about it. It's been 4 days and people are still jumping on board.
Have you seen the Pope draft?
I have not. I saw the clip of it, but I haven't watched it yet.
It's great.
Is it?
They picked Shador number 1. So, that's not, I'm sorry if I spoiled it for you. I'm bad at that.
RG3 said NFL coaches don't like Dion being a good father and being involved. Josh Pate said he was contacted by NFL personnel and they more so said they wanted him involved. Look, I don't know. Here's what I know. There is a difference between being a good father and being a helicopter dad. And it's amazing how many helicopter parents think they're being good parents. You're not. You got to let your kid fail. You got to let your kid take some lumps. You got to let your kid understand what losing feels like. You know who some of the most entitled kids in the game are? And I only know this because I've played the game long enough. You want to know who some of the most entitled players, kids in the games are? kids whose parents are rich enough and can put them on travel ball teams. You know why? Because they never lose. They never once have to get their asses whipped and learn how to handle that.
Wow. I couldn't agree with you more.
I mean, again, like, it's because I'm right.
Especially travel ball, like softball or baseball.
Yes.
Those kids, yeah.
I never played travel ball. All right. I played local Little League ball.
We couldn't afford to pay for travel ball because travel ball is a little expensive.
I mean, we could. We just didn't want to.
Okay. All right. Well,
actually don't know. I never really wanted to because, like, travel league ball when I was in high school, like, you had to get in the van and on, 7-8 Saturdays in a row, you had to drive 8 hours to go play in a baseball tournament. And I didn't want to do that, right? So I played local Little League baseball with my friends because that's what I wanted to do. And every now and then, we would line it up and play some of the local travel ball team before they went out to big tournaments and whatnot. And my team, my sophomore and junior year of high school, I was still playing senior league, Little League. And we played some of the travel league ball. And there were some kids that were D1 prospects, college baseball prospects on these teams. And man, when I tell you, if you beat one of these teams, they lost their bleeping minds over it. Some of the most entitled kids. And you can say whatever you want. Shador's had programs catered to him as long as Dion's been a thing. And then you add in the drive. You guys remember when, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to bring up the negatives. Remember when Dion tried to start his own football academy and the whole thing turned out to be an absolute fraudulent joke? Remember that? Is that really the guy you want around helping make decisions? Helicopter parents do not help their kids. All you do is create an entitled monster who doesn't know how to lose, how to survive and thrive. And the problem is helicopter parents don't think they're helicopter parenting, right? Helicopter parents think they're being great dads, great moms. They don't know that they're helicopter parenting. That was kind of part of the thing that I had in this whole conversation was you can go to Dion and go, hey man, you're kind of being a glorified helicopter dad, right? Like you're just kind of hovering. And Shador, Dion's going to look and go, that's my kid. That's my boy. That's my son. I know what's best. It's like, that's what a helicopter dad would say. So this was the point that I made yesterday when I said, do I want a situation where when Dion's unhappy about the franchise, he starts tweeting about me and I got to start worrying about what he's saying and how people are trying to bring that into the locker room? Do I really want to deal with that? No, I kind of don't. I kind of have zero interest in having that part of the franchise. Is Dion a good dad or a bad dad? I don't know. I mean, here's what I do know. He got into coaching and took over a football program to give his boys a spot where he could build a program around them. And then when they got too big for that program, he went and took over a bigger program to build that program around them. Is that good parenting or bad parenting? I don't know. If Shador goes on to make the Hall of Fame of the NFL, I guess we could say it's good parenting. But if Shador goes to the league and he washes out, and he ain't the guy, that I think we'd say it's bad parenting, right? Like, I don't know. But this whole thing of, they're all frustrated Dion's a good dad. I don't think that's it, guys. I don't think that people really, truly understand how much the NFL does not give a crap about any of that. None of it. They care about, can you play and can you help us win? And if the answer to those two questions is yes, you're good.
I don't know. From a marketing standpoint, it's kind of cool when it happens and it's successful. The second generation talent in the NFL.
I mean, if he is, right? If he is.
Or in any sport. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., there's so many guys, when the second guy, whether you like it or not, Bronny is a story because,
sure.
I mean, yeah. So I get why they like the ideal of it happening and it being successful.
Look, I think it would be pretty cool if Dion's kid went on to be Dion Volume 2.0. I want it on the record. I don't have any ill will towards Shador. I hope he learned a lesson in humility. I hope he gets it together. But my whole thought is this whole thing about, oh, they don't want Dillon around. I mean, kinda.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
All right, time to find out what the X is going on. The first thing that's Xing is Arch Manning.
Real quick, Texter says, I'm an assistant coach for my kids' rec league 8U baseball team, and I could not agree with you more about travel ball. All it does is make the people that run travel ball money, and that's it, and spoil the hell out of kids even more than they already are spoiled. Yeah, that's it. Arch Manning is trending because teams like my New Orleans Saints are already starting to discuss the ask for Arch mentality for next year. But I don't know if that's why he's trending.
No, he got drafted, by the way. And
Arch Manning?
I'm
Quinn
sorry.
Ewers?
Quinn Ewers.
Quinn Ewers is
My bad.
Xing because Quinn Ewers, I'm assuming
I don't know.
dad.
You know what? I wrote it down wrong, but I meant Quinn Ewers. My
Yeah,
bad.
got it. No, all good. Quinn Ewers is Xing because video of his being selected in the NFL draft got out, and I'm assuming it's like his dad's hunting trophy room, which looks like the scene of a Bond villain's lair, except for all that, like dead animals everywhere, fine, whatever. Big ass Tyrannosaurus Rex skull.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool room. That's not why he's Xing because the money that he gave up to go to the NFL when he could have made, I think it was $8 or $9 million if he stayed in college.
Yeah. In fact, I learned yesterday, a great one, that your Buckeyes were making an NIL pitch to get him to come up to Columbus OH.
Don't blame him.
And come play the ball there.
Worked out pretty good for him last year.
Yep.
So.
More than he's getting paid in the NFL. That is true.
All right. The next thing that's Xing, and I'm sure about the name on this one, Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee Xing. I have not gotten a chance to watch last night's Raw, but apparently he and Gunther have a match. Oh, sorry, buddy of the show. Gunther have a match coming up.
That is why, but also it is being hailed by some as one of the greatest wrestling promos ever.
I have not gotten a chance to watch it.
I watched it. It's pretty good. It is pretty good.
I have not gotten a chance to watch it. Here's what I do know. What I do know is that the internet wrestling community, as we are affectionately known, the internet wrestling community has turned on Pat McAfee the last couple of months or so. Basically, they've gone, okay, it's too much now. And I will tell you, McAfee's commentary during the show has kind of lost its charm. To me, it's kind of gotten to the point where he's just guys screaming into a microphone. Like it used to add stuff because it felt like he actually was a reflection of the fans. It felt like he was a reflection. He was saying the things we felt. And now he's just saying the catchphrases that like Vince McMahon used to make people say. And it kind of lost a little bit of the charm. But even turning on McAfee, the IWC said the promo he cut last night was better than the promos being cut by most of the guys on the roster.
I believe it's a really good promo, but you're a little hypercritical when it comes to certain things, and maybe you won't like it as much. We'll see. I think you will like it. All right, the next thing that's Xing is Free Comic Book Day.
See you at Borderlands this afternoon?
Saturday.
Saturday.
But it's not just there. I mean, of course, if you want a free comic book, you should go to Borderlands Comics and Games, 410 South Pleasant Brook Drive. But most comic book stores participate in this around the country. It's a chance to get free comic books and get some kids more interested in the comics, or get them their first comic book and get it for free.
If McAfee does anything against buddy of the show, Gunther, he's got to become Karrion Kross's next target, right? McAfee does. Like Cross has got to go get McAfee.
There's no way McAfee beats Gunther. But I hope it's a good match, and this is setting up something else. Got to be setting up something else.
Y'all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being here. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you didn't, you have bad taste in radio. You should come back tomorrow, and we'll try again to win you over one more time again. For Alonzo, I'm Rob. Have a lovely rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better, on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
Yeah, Rob. It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
Why you have to be mad? Why you have to be mad?
He also sounds like a Bond villain too. I mean,
He does a little
yeah.
bit.
I mean,
You're not wrong. Why you have to be mad?
he's saying this as Bond is, about to die from some nefarious contraption.
No, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die.
I didn't watch all Raw either. I watched like the first hour of it, and then I was getting caught up on LFG, which is pretty good. I mean, and also entirely a work, I think. But
Wrestling awesome. Wrestling is awesome. Oh, I think that whole show's a work.
yeah,
I mean,
That's why I
think
keep telling my wife. She's like, "Why are they keeping him around?" I said, "Because that dude brings drama to everybody."
Everything he does.
Yeah. And the guy I'm talking about, his name is BJ. He did his they pick nicknames.
Yeah.
And you had to promote why your nickname was who it is. And AJ looked at Bubba and said, "I like that guy." But it's a case of someone who has the promo skills, but the wrestling skills aren't there yet.
Yeah.
And these kids are like, some just showed up at the beginning of the show. Some have been there for months. I like it. Yeah, but they're coming back supposedly, but they're coming back with a very short person as their leader, according to rumors. We'll see.
Am I having a moment of bliss?
Yeah, a lot of people were not happy with how those different riders. Then I guess.
All right, dudes, got a jet. Thanks for being here. You're all amazing. Have a lovely rest of your day. See you back here tomorrow. Enjoy whatever wrestling you're watching tonight. Goodbye. Say his name.